Operation Rapper Inquisition, moving through the fakeness, hip-hop matrix vision. Back again, in these bars, this is my prison. Walls of these pages with pen shanks I'm scribbling. No visits, lines on paper, concrete walls. My margin is my showers and my washing stalls. End of the page is when I make parole. Force me to execute rappers, then throw me in the hole. So much so, the MC, not confined. The elements of hip-hop today are not combined. Almost seeing the other side, gotta stay focused. Just gotta let that phone ring and don't lose focus. They can't try to hocus pocus. Send rapping jokers with handbags, Gucci purses and chokers. Jeans, wrestler, spandex type, turning youths to robots. If you drink a Sprite, that's not what I say, that's what they do. Use rappers to sell you sneakers and Mountain Dew, flowing like a fountain dew. When you turn the lever, setting the bar for conscious MCs and rapping believers. Trapped with me in these bars, rappers begging for seizures. Hanging rappers with the strongest lines, squirm like leeches. Sentenced to the underground, no one hears their screams. Left right after the math for these black and yellow dreams. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the rapper? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself.
Check it. Let's open the book of hip hop and make advances. My supreme knowledge of alchemical sciences only enhances my ability to drop metaphysical answers. When asked about the MC, the DJ, the graph for the dancers, earth, air, fire, water, all being born to hip hop. Study hard to get that. Forget rap, cause it's not. The transformation from lead to go from man to God can be achieved through hip hop. It's art, the planet's ours. The colors and tones and archetypes will spark the light. Give your third eye a bird's eye, restore the loss of sight. You already lost the fight whenever I come across the mic, because you're dealing with God and you can never exhaust the light. We're making the shift from hip hop to God hop. It's the return of the ancient ones and we coming non-stop. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm here, straight from the boogie down, so have no fear.
What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the rapper? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself. It's only in the underground, unseen but heard. All of those words and metaphoric slurs, riding on the soothing savage beat tones. Paparazzi taking pictures, talking on the phone. Pictures tell 1,000 words. Bus drivers on camera, reading or sleeping while driving on camera. He might even be hammered. It's not even lunch yet. Didn't have breakfast, clock not even punch yet. Send that to the news and post on YouTube. Hits some people get are in the thousands, not few. Charge $1, make $1 million. Set up a website and PayPal, make a killing. Right side, that's all just hype. I'm on the streets bringing youth from darkness to light. I'm in their courts, not playing ball, but schooling them crossover thoughts. It's not training camp like October sports. Season's been started. Sam's going to shoot shadow targets. Got them thinking it's the shoes when they're the market. Got them thinking it's the booze and blunts you smoke. Got them thinking magazine monthly hip-hop quotes have the best lines. They can't test time. Rappers get awards for MC best albums and best rhymes. I was the brush carrier with fades and waves. Didn't know that hairstyle was from the ancient days. Me doing the work for the Amazon matriarchal. Rapping hip-hop today so patriarchal. Female MCs on the mic are probably no 6. The game is like church and demigods, no woman on pulpits. We have to say what we must, sow some seeds so we can grow strong trees with the bedsheet leaves. Deadbeat seas, most navigate with flows. I flow on papyrus beat bones as I write these scrolls. Bringing back the hip-hop's constitutional fold. Even mics can't escape, catch a bruise when I hold. My paper trails leave them, smooth when I hold. Apply more science, never get booed when I flow. Cushion pen, not the cush when you see I blow. Flow for right years when my 3 eyes glow. And head and rapper inquisition. Pen mighty and the swords not even on ink we missing. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the rapper? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself. Me and me. That's how we do it.
Think about that. Think about it.
Yeah. You know.
Think about that. Think about it.
Iron Sheik. Moorish MC.
Think about that. Think about it.
Shimitar Bay. Moorish Master.
Think about that.
MC.
Think about it.
Hey, yo, think about this. Now think about that. Think about your first words and don't talk back. Think about your status, don't call yourself black. Think about how corporations jack you attacks like menace to society or any gangster flick. Before you say you're a slave descendant, think about the ship. Think about the trip across the Atlantic. Think about the mutiny, think about the panic. Would slaves be frantic, heading back to shore in a ship not theirs, or was it really yours? Prisoners of war, subjugated Moors, crossed out with Hannibal and the Battle of Tours. Spanish Inquisition that didn't convert the Moors. Think about the laws and the first passports were given to the Moors during Barbary Wars, fleeing from the pirates like they're swimming from jaws. Take over their vessels and make their wild wars. That's why they hate our sisters and us to their core. I can't wrong them. You better think about that. Pirates coming and they thinking y'all sailing off the map. Do they face us head on and plan an attack, or call it a loss and sail to the horizon off the map? I wasn't there, but I think about this. They also fought whales and giant squid were monster fish. On open waters can't defend self or protect daughters. Just pray the Catholic fathers and prep for slaughter.
Think about that. Think about it. Think about that. Think about it. Think about that. Think about it. Think about that. Think about it.
Hey yo, think about it. Think about it. When you hear the truth, do you think that you should doubt it? Jews said, what I brought you, you could shout it. Many make friends with lies, but truth, they want about it. Like a main event on pay-per-view and wanna be champ. With no status, you can land yourself in the drunk tank with Indians or fire water. All in your face, tax exempt card for Indians. What a disgrace. Indian tax card, get them the liquor so cheap. Before the night start, red dirty Moors lay in a heap. Talking in Ojibwe tongue with skunk drunk speech. Jumbled and mumbled like savages from African jungles. Sounded like a power, but no African bongos. Corporate cities use aboriginal names like Toronto, Mississauga, Ottawa, Niagara, Canada. More civilized, not conquered Spain and Grenada. Civilized worldwide, north, south, east, and west. We brought science from space heights to sea depths. We brought physics, alchemy, check pyramid texts of Maya, not Egypt. You see it if you go to China. Africa is Asia, that's why those from China could find gold in South Africa, working like miners. Africa really belongs to Asiatics. Pygmy bushmen with Afro were so nomadic, traveling across hot sand, seas, and forests. Expert navigators, Moors far from Northern. We were never meant to just keep you or choose polish. You must walk through Moors Gate to go to Juice College.
Think about that. Think about it. 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 Think about that.
People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel that they don't deserve them or that they'll be unable to achieve them. We, their hearts, become fearful just thinking of loved ones who go away forever, or of moments that could have been good but weren't, or of treasures that might have been found but were forever hidden in the sand.
30 more say the prophet's name won't teach the same universal lessons, keep you slave chains on your brain. Wanting Moorish presidents when that's the prophet. If he was around, most grand chiefs' heads he'll off it. Guilty by association, off your head too for riding with dirty Moors that made a mockery of Drew Ali. Dirty Moors from Canaanland to Cali used to be LB, now they claim Ali. Keep thinking that they're for you, but get ignored. Giving lessons in pieces like a jigsaw. Leave you puzzled, your third eye muzzled, mind smuggled. Know how to say the right thing, keep lies subtle. Really win with truth bait, lying eyes and truth face. Ego Moors make you carry their suitcase or hold their umbrella. He walks like a fruitcake, prophet watching from the soul plane, the route you take. Whose prince will you step in? Demons or genuines, MSTA members or Moorish Americans.
Go ahead, what's coming with? Go ahead, what's coming with? Go ahead, what's coming with?
90 plus years running a fraud, that's why you know every prophet and Ali, but not true. Keeping you away, they have a deep, dirty more crew, causing confusion. This dirty more crew will tell you partial to have chains on your brain when it should be parcel. A free national name. Drew Ali got revenge by Moore's eyes wide open. Not Morisco world eyes wide open. For her can make those lips clap. Using Frank Gary, brother Larry, journalist traps. Homoerotic, stray cat Moors, dissing the mothers. Putting blame on active Moors for current gains and others. Fake profits, heads on the coin, and pictures next to the noble. Today the treasury balance is zero, the total. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study yourself. Dirty Moors judge your attire and judge your bookshelf. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study the law. When you study no trance by Moorish hymn composers. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study the higher. Dirty Moors cook out that smell from Oscar Mayer. Study, study, study. When you're finished, it's never finished. Dirty Moors selling status correction clinics. 500 per class pass. I'd rather watch Taj and have a clear perspective on the Moorish path. Faculty and student, Moorish Heritage History School. Don't endanger your life with a fool.
So it has right here in the dictionary, black or Moor. And it has the part of speech right under it. Next to it says noun. And it says a black person, man or woman, Negro. Then it has in italics, black in small case, plus, then it got Moor capitalized. There's an identity right there in the dictionary. It was never really hidden. You tell these people they're Moors, they say, what religion is that? They are so asleep. The sorcerers did a good job. And we're battling sorcerers. Of course, if we come out talking that way from the door, you'd think we're out to lunch. You understand? People, it's sort of like our arrogance, our poisonous and toxic self-righteousness has cursed us for quite a few generations. We got to fix it.
Rapper Inquisition. Iron Sheik inducted, now a secret chief. Floor Lord of Vic rappers, Mike Sharif. Got producers giving me free beats like Hanif. Cause when I flow, it's deep like a coral reef. Wash up, rapping jellyfish on the beach. Nothing to hide, show my face when I speak. Black power cartels, are black Charles Martels. Hammer their points dull, just like colors pastel. I drop it so hard that you need a hard hat. Rappers take off like Sleepy Hollow heads off on tarmac. You be black, but those whose skin is brown got their own convenience stores and temples in your town. Got politicians in their back and front pocket. These nationality approach. Like black lives don't matter. More lives not shot in the back, running or choked out to death on the corner. They take the taser for inside, I'm just the coroner. To the yellow journalist that want to write the facts for worldwide web press stories, always calling them black. Civil rights violated here from C1.7 and CIA and FBI agents, reckless felons with one big brother, one third. Most Moors are nerds and study more than they want on the road, no biting curves. Professor Mooses, we're fighting for survival. Making Moors models won't happen, common as captain rival. Inquisition is governors and secretaries of state. Got stateless on your tables like ribeye steak. With no care, blood dripping. They eat black thread. Foreigners wearing city boy badges, pretending they're heirs to the vastest estate of the Malaxa. Stainless blood from after horses, brow service agua. Demons thirst sweat, stealing pioneers and organs. Psychiatry, death industry. The start selling black orphans. And half-full coffins. Cause legs are missing, killing stateless people, cancer won't even see remission. All lives matter. Black lives don't matter. All lives matter. Like black lives don't matter. All lives matter. Like black lives don't matter. All lives matter. Like black lives don't matter.
run down and kick them off, educate oneself and slip them. All those big titles of nationality strips them. Must trick reality in order to really grip them in this third dimensional illusion. Organized chaos confusion, seeking your protection, mental intrusion, universal law, declaration of the ancient. I self-law and master from the rooftops to the basement, roof beach to the spaceship, ever since all creation, celestial foundation, ocean floor to the ranges, to the mountain tip, to the cosmic infinite. Basically, we are way above this shit. In other words, get in tune with spirit, take a breath and accept mental polarities and the rhythm correspondence, vibration, cause and effect.
More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter.
More life matter because I'm thinking on sound off. It gets affected when protected from the last off. If my perspective one thing I keep to replay. All the news that one replay. Still they want to catch off. But we on to the next one. Enough of them are running down. And you them a cat rock. Can't believe a something that can't believe a cock. Bar, Trayvon, Michael Brown, Lazarus was back. Acting like this is a class wrong. Who they really want to see with the crown on high and the cards on free? I am free and you're nothing to but your land or your country to see. You're here, liberal rights. Being impatient for the light of knowing thyself and bringing all injustice to light. With the fight is your claim, make your fight for the bright. I'm the mic in the night. More life for you to realize that,
More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter. More lives matter. Black lives don't matter.
Peace and love, Moors. Peace and love to everybody listening. I am Mizraim Aleph L. You are tuned into MHHS Eyes Wide Open, Sons of Allah, for February 2020 on this beautiful day. Numerologically, I am here along with my brethren, Kudjo, Oswald L. Peace, Noble.
Peace, more Islam. Everything's
Sure,
clear.
man.
We're
I've
clear.
said it before.
Peace and love to all. Peace and love to all Moors everywhere that you're at. Once again, it's great to be here with you, Miz, doing our regular Thursday, Sons of Allah, third Thursday, Sons of Allah. And you know, supreme honors to the mothers for allowing us to have this platform to, you know, express our will.
Absolutely, yo. Absolutely. That's where it all started at. You know what I mean? And I stay forever thankful for that. But I said this, and I've been saying this for years. I don't know why I always feel like I find myself saying this, but it's true, bro. Like, we get, like, the best days. Like, the third Thursday, it seems like it's always something significant, bro. Like, always something significant. Even if it's not realized on regular calendars, it's like, yo, the numerology don't lie. So first off, let's just give a little acknowledgement to the numbers. Today is, according to the Gregorian calendar, is 2/20/2020. Right? So already the angel numbers is present with this presentation, what we all in alignment with right now. I just feel like I know those are my angel numbers for sure. But, you know, I keep my phone on what they call military time, because at night you get to catch all the angel numbers. I don't know about anybody else, but when you count the 24 hours instead of 12 hours 2 times on the clock, you really get the layout of the angel numbers. Even 333, like on the clock of destiny, Those are angel numbers or master numbers or whatnot.
Right.
So I'm saying that today is significant in that regard, that we got this 2222, and can't forget the 0 either. That has its purpose, but math don't lie. Even in, like, sometimes we got to take it beyond the language into the numbers, right? So, like, I study everything with 7. Like, and if I see the circle 7, I'm reading it. I see the supreme lessons of the gods and earths with the 7 on it, I'm reading it. If I see a Masonic book with a compass and a square on it and a G in the middle, I'm reading it because it's all based off of the 7, because G is the 7th letter as well. So when we take it into the realm of numbers, but not go crazy with it, it resonates on a different level. So we here talking about 2/20/2020, and I want to give a big shout out and acknowledgement to all the Moors. I believe we've now, teetering on Pisces season, but I do want to acknowledge all the Moors who have ever stood up for their rights on any level, like recognize the rights of indigenous people, recognize in the sense what the United Nations was trying to do and being inclusive with all nations. Sad enough, and this is not a shot at our brethren and sisters who don't know themselves, but Black was never really a recognized nationality. So even though many have tried under the brand of Black, a lot of them have failed. And I had somebody hit me up around last year this time saying that, like, well, such and such went to the United Nations and tried to get rights for Black people. And I was like, man, look, that's the first thing. Black is not a nationality. You call it what you want. You can feel however you want about it. You can still call yourself that if that's what you're doing. It doesn't change the fact it's not a nationality. So I bring up the United Nations to bring up the fact that on today, 2/20/2020, right? Well, first off, let me not just get caught up on 2020. And I don't want to sound crazy. Y'all got to stay with me with these numbers. But February is the second month according to the Gregorian year, right? So on February 2nd, 2006 or 2007, I believe, the United Nations General Assembly declared 2/20 the World Day of Social Justice. Real talk. It's an international day, you know what I mean? Or social justice, equality. And a lot of us talk about how, people think this or they think that because we've been socially engineered. But in the 1960s or something like that, but it's like, yeah, even though those operations was in effect, like the issue of social justice and, social disputes, all of that goes back to the DC times, family. I kid you not, because even with the United Nations declaring today World Day of Social Justice, and we could say that's modern, but it's a significance that we Moors are on the line. We know our rights. We've stood up for our rights. We talk about rights. We teach rights, all types, birth rights, civil rights, constitutional, which protects all of those rights. Excuse me, and let me not say my fault. Let me not say civil rights in the sense of, trying to get some equal rights with the European in the sense of the 60s. I mean, like, true civics as the mothers and fathers of civilization. So that's what I mean. Not none of that Jesse Jackson, let somebody represent you thing. Like, I'm talking about true civics, Anybody who has ever endeavored to be involved with that, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you all and why we even doing what we're doing on many levels, divine and national for sure. So, my fault, I don't want to rant on, but I was saying that with today being the World Day of Social Justice, if you go back and you look at the social wars, right, from 91 to 88 BC, there was something called the social wars. And at this time, they wasn't really considering Italy a part of Rome. But then when you do the history and you do the knowledge of the Moorish Empire in Europe, you know that Italy had heavy Moorish influence before the social wars and all of that. Like,
because it's been said many a times, you got the Roman Empire, then you got the Holy Roman Empire. So on this note of social wars, it was a time Italy wasn't considered a part of Rome. However, it was still heavy Moorish influence in there. And Nature Knows No Color Lines gives the knowledge on that, which is why so many people have been trying to downplay Moors as if we some faction or some sort of whatever outcast of society that don't know what we're talking about. And the history will show you. Any studious person that just does a little bit of an investigation into the history of Moors, forget whether this Moor wears a turban or fez today or whatnot. Not that that's not important. Dress code is important. Anywhere you go, you know what I'm saying? Some places you have to have a dress code to get in. We get that. But as far as it, signifying the history of a Moor, whether they know it or not, this is aspects of social justice that we have to consider and realize that we are in fact Moors. And anything coming from the United Nations, nationality is first. So for them to pick this day that we're presenting this Sons of Allah 2/20/2020 to have International Social Justice Day, we need to be up on that, because even in the Circle 7, it gives you the social duties. It's a subject matter. It's just the subject matter. You know what I mean? Just the subject matter. So, and an important one at that. So like, I don't know. We here, and I just feel like today is a good day. I don't care who you are. You can feel like you having the worst day. You know what I mean? Utilize these numbers of the 2/2, 2/2, 2/20/2020 to manifest what you want to manifest in perpetuity. I don't know if everybody can resonate at that number. I know I can, in the sense of what I was just explaining, which is international. It don't just belong to me. 2/2 or 2/20, is definitely what the international community has deemed the Social Justice Day. But I was born on that number as well. So when I said earlier that even when I see anything with a 7, if we take it into numbers and signs and symbols, even when I look at the lessons of the gods and earths in number 2 in the daily mathematics is wisdom. And it's defined as wisdom is the wise word spoken by the wise man. Wisdom is the manifestation of the foundation, which is the knowledge. And of course, 0 is knowledge. Add on cipher. Knowledge is to know, right? And in order for one to know, one must have knowledge. Cipher is a circle consisting of 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, which is life. That's how they define it. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that from the jump, like, sometimes you got to get into different things to correlate what the message is. Numerology, with the numerology. Like if I want to talk math, I'm going to look at astrology, but I know the lessons is pretty much decent from the NGE for that part of mathematics, having another language of math. But I know this all comes from more science, because ironically, in number 2 of the English C lessons, and it goes in there that, Noble Drew Ali was that dude. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that all of these things have a message from when we're talking about social reformers, all of that. It's a lot I want to get into on this note of being social justice, and all of these things. But I definitely want to first, yield the floor to you to add on whatever it is you would like to at this point on the math or whatever representing this day that may be memorial.
Islam. Peace and love to all Moors. One of the things was the whole idea of the numbers lining up like this, meaning that it's an angel day. Now, the Miz hit it on the head, telling everybody, if your day was shit today, you don't worry, because it was actually a great day. Because it's not about us unless we're learning on the journey. So if you got some slaps today, learn from them. Because today is actually an angel day. None of the numbers are lining up. It's the actual day of the angels' energy being on the earth plane.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they can do the social justice day on this day is because of the first principle the Noble Drew Ali told us is gonna get everything back in our order. Because the 222 is unity, right? Which is gonna come through love. The 222 is two swans facing each other. Which is love. The 222 is your direct resonance with the universe. If the stuff is off today, then you need some checking to do, because Noble Drew Ali told us that the angels are the Asiatics, which is us. So how's today an angel day and today sucks for an angel?
Big facts, though. Yes.
How
and
is
if you look the word up in the etymology, 1936 or older, it'll tell you in the definition of a dictionary that that's what an angel is, a messenger. Real talk, like etymology. Like we know to study in the brackets, if you look in the brackets of an unabridged dictionary, 1936 or older, at least Webster's 1936 dictionary, unabridged, I'm telling you, the definition of angel right in there is also messenger. So Noble Drew Ali was not lying. And I just want to add on, that wasn't mythology. That was real talk.
Yep.
Real talk.
Right. Because love could change. Love, it's all good, more. Love could change things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can look at today even as being the starting point. That we're gonna invoke the love energy on each other as Moors, and this is the ritual. Whoever missed today, they're not gonna be on it. But we have to really be on it like that after today. Because there's lots of madness going on out there. You know what I mean? And really, this should be some closed door adept, whatever. But, you know, whatever. Drew Ali took away all the secrets. Adept lesson is if an amount of individuals have their thoughts in the same place, it's going to manifest faster than one individual doing that. So there's rituals in the Adept chamber where you can invoke certain chapters of certain books, because it's really not just what people thought it was. When they talk about Drew Ali was a circus magician and stuff like that, you think that he wasn't an occultist? You think Egyptian adept student just means, you think CMB has 360-degree free Moorish master mason and he doesn't know occult? He doesn't know these stuff that we're talking about here, about numerology and all that. And if he does, what level do they know it on? And again, I mean, honors to the mothers for allowing us to have this platform, because Sons of Allah gets all the best days. You just go back and check. Yo, 80% is, I don't mean to say this, but yo, we always get the best days. Always. Ever since this kicked off, the best days were on Sons of Allah third Thursday. So there was something about that, you know what I mean, that created this, that we're here talking about it on the day. On the day we have a Sons of Allah to prove to people who maybe never heard or never whatever, that we're not riding with what some grand sheikh said or what some grand governor or what some whatever said. We're on the resonance of the universe. So all we have to do is be present. Everything's already lined up. And today we're present in the moment of the frequency of love and unity. And we're on a Moorish platform that's been a Moorish platform that's been talking about all this type of stuff. So there's a certain buildup going on right now. Where's this 22222 energy gonna go? Where's this 00000 energy gonna go after today? And all that's dependent on everybody who says that they're more, whether they hear this today, whether it is after today. Because you were here, since we talk about angels and messengers or whatever, okay, Sons of Allah tonight is angels talking to you. Forget Mizraim and Kudjo and, you know what I mean? We're quoting from some book and Noble Juali. No, we're not talking about the personages today. We're talking about the message, which is what it's really about today. Are you receiving the message? Whatever the message is, today you better get it. If you don't get it today, because after this 2-2-2-2 goes on, there's not going to be another one of these.
Big fact.
Right? Like there's no having another 2-20-20-20. So the door's closing. You know when they have the movie and the guys running the slide under the thing before it closes, the wall coming down or something or whatever. Okay, right now you're running toward the closing thing. That who knows what's gonna happen after today. You might never get it back ever again, just because this was your last opportunity to learn the lesson. And you came to Sons of Allah to get it. Which, even though we're called sons or whatever, this is not a patriarchal platform. Because we might see two brothers and start thinking about, oh yeah, these guys are the man. No, we're sons. That's why it's called Sons of Allah. We're sons. We're sons. Real simple. We'll always be sons. Right? We'll always be sons. Right. So when you see, and then also too, after today, all the and good one bringing up the 24-hour clock, all the 2-2-2-2s now have a totally different energy now. Because everything from today is only going to be running on that feed. The only time you're going to get 2-2-2-2 is 24-hour clock.
On the micro clock.
Right? So it's about doing something with this energy that we know, that's the energy of love. And we know that anytime you see double digits, you know something's going on. That's just what it is now at this point. Can't be, surprised that you actually saw it. You know, like it must be the norm by now, because we've been seeing double, even before we were conscious, we were seeing double digit stuff, not knowing what the hell we're looking at. But it was always a coincidence that we've picked up on that or whatever. There was no more coincidence. Coincidence has been over. This is now direct conversation with the ancients. This is direct conversation with the angels, which again, let's just put that out there too. Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, since we're dealing with the numerology, the 2222, and we know that numerically there's angels. So all these different numbers, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, whatever, as soon as you see the double, it's an angel. Now, the thing is, what is an angel? So, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Thought of the Lord. Our angels are our spiritual perceptive faculties, which ever dwell in the presence of the Father, which is a son. It comes from mother. Don't get it messed up. The angels of our childlike spiritual thoughts. These quote-unquote little ones are the thoughts that understand spiritual principles. The office of the angels is to guard and guide and direct the material forces of mind and body, which have in them the future of the whole man. The two angels in white sitting, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain, are affirmation and denial. It is by the use of these messengers of the I am that the body is taken out and away from the tomb of matter and flesh. The angel symbolizes a messenger. It is the projection into consciousness of a spiritual idea direct from the fountainhead, Jehovah. So this is a message directly from the source. This is not just mere opinion. This is a message. You being in this place at this time, listening to this, there's a reason for that. And the reason is going to be, the reason is going to be expressed, like Brother Seton Rabbe says, you eat the fish, spit out the bones. But there's going to be something that you maybe already taken away from this. Because today is the day of the angels, and you don't know what you're going to get. But I guarantee you it's going to resonate with you. But remember, after today, you're running toward the thing, about to slide under the stuff. If you get your arm caught, your arm's gone. If you don't make it under, now you're trapped. Huh? Right? If the thing closes on you and you don't make it under, you're trapped.
No doubt about it.
So,
and I wanted to add on when you were saying that earlier about running and doors closing. It just reminded me of run, chase, and catch. And I thought about, since we here on 2222, right? I thought about catch 22, bro. Real talk. What's the science with that? You know what I'm saying? A catch 22, because this is what they say that this month is February, right? They say that this is the month of February. And a lot of more is on the line into etymology, I'm sure. If not, look that up and get familiar with it. But the word February actually means purification, spoke on this, right? So now we here in the month of February, and I was telling you earlier even that I'm just thinking about this from a perspective of Noble Drew Ali. And Noble Drew Ali's lessons alone. This is totally detached from emotions, opinions, loyalty to any image or whatnot. I'm talking about the lesson itself in the 101s with this whole catch-22 in this month of February. It's like, okay, so in there he says that white means purity, right? And purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. So February being an actual festival at a point in time, right? And the word itself meaning purity, right? And purity actually means white, or white means purity. Why is it that they hit the catch-22 with Black History Month and what is really Purification Month, according to the lessons of Noble Drew Ali, man? Like, just from what he's saying, you know what I'm saying? White means purity. Purity means death. You know, black means death, etc. And I get it, because he said according to science. And I was thinking on this catch-22 with white and black that, like, yo, if you spray white mold with vinegar, it turns black when it dies. And that is science. I remember science from the earliest forms when they had you do the experiment in school with the volcano and baking soda and vinegar, and I believe that was all the ingredients needed to make it look like an explosion. But it was a part of this basic public school education. They give you that experiment young. You gotta make a volcano, and then you put the baking soda and vinegar. So we talking about science elements, and in there it strictly does show and prove that vinegar is a cleaning, killing agent of dirt. And I'm only speaking of this cleanup because I'm speaking from this lesson of February being a so-called Black History Month, right? So-called Black History Month. And only those who study Noble Drew Ali is going to get where I'm coming from right now, with white meaning purity and February meaning purity. It seems like it's something there on a different level. And you can look the word February up in your unabridged etymology, whatever, and you'll see that it means purification. So I know only Moors who study the lessons of Noble Drew Ali are going to get that. You know what I mean? I know that. But I know that, a lot of our people are still emotionally attached to being so-called black. But you really got to look at the lessons of Noble Drew Ali and get a little familiar with science. You're not saying you got to build a rocket ship, but I mean, it is what it is, basic stuff like vinegar, killing mold, turning it from white to black. And, you're seeing it dying and seeing the lessons of Noble Drew Ali manifesting before your eyes when that happens. Like, oh shit, it's done. Black means death. Let's, vinegar kills that. I don't know, man. That's just basic science, I say, according to his lessons. That's how I take it when I see things like that. But I just feel like it's a catch-22 to it being, so-called Black History Month, but the month itself officially on paper is February, which means purification or whiteness. Is that like a laughing joke amongst the Romans in this day? To show like, man, y'all really don't have nothing. This is our month officially. You say what you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you think about that, but that was my thought on that, bro.
It's, like you said, catch-22. And then even bringing in the shortest months, catch-22. There's many angles that they play games with our people, yo. You know what I mean? And we just don't see the game. And again, it starts with like the Moor was saying in the chat. Yeah, today I saw 2 cardinals, 2 bluebirds, 2 whatever, 2 hawks, 2 whatever. Just, you know what I mean? You pick up on the frequency. When you pick up on the energy, something's gonna protect you. You're gonna be in good hands, like Allstate, just because you're on some honoring 2. Imagine we honor some real stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we're just giving some honors to numbers. But there's some heavy spiritual significance. You know what I mean? Like even with the thing of February and the shortest month. Even as a black guy, you're questioning that. Even as a black guy, you're like, yo, what is this? Like, why we have the shortest month and all that? And you don't realize that they're playing their game. You know what I mean? Becoming people's angels, bringing stuff for them and all that. Have them thinking that that's for them, really. And that's a fiction. Only angels are Asiatics. But some European is going to be your angel.
Right.
You know?
That's what he shows. And their duty is to carry messages to all 4 corners of the earth. Right? So somehow, somewhere, you got to be in global communication. You have to be. If you're going to live out your divine purpose, right? So even when people think they teaching and, slandering Moors or whatever, okay, are you an angel or a demon with your message? You know what I'm saying? Because, the messages are to be carried, the angels are to be carried, because it's as above, so below. This planet right here is where everything manifests. Everything manifests on this planet, bro. Like, and I know there's things beyond our comprehension out in the universe and whatnot, but this is where the magic is at. Even everything exists here, almost like all supreme evidence of life is on this earth plane, and everything has a season, cycles. It's time to manifest and things like that. So I'm just saying that to say that, if we look at it from as above, so below perspective, us being here on Earth is still existing in the universe. What if, like, the way we are giving honors to the sun, the moon, stars, they are now on those planes giving honor to this planet too? What if that's the case? For beneficial, benevolent, and malevolent force. But it just exists in the universe. So I'm just saying that to say that, we gotta understand that Noble Drew Ali, with the lesson of even the angel is an Asiatic, he was still keeping you in a divine but earthly perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the divine and national perspective, he was still giving it to you to whereas, okay, well, why would he say that an angel is an Asiatic and, their duty is to carry messages? Because that's really what the word meant. And that's divine right here on this earth planet. So we already know it wasn't a joke when they say he was an Egyptian adept student, because their whole study was the spirit life, which spirit actually means breath. And we speak it here, you know what I mean? And wherever we at. So, yeah, and I'm looking at the chat. Shout out to the Adept 7 for putting the etymology in the chat,
Islam.
But real talk, that's what it means. So, only those who study more science will get that point of February being literally the month of purification. But according to more science lessons left by Noble Drew Ali, he's saying that white means purity, black means death. So whose month is it officially if they're saying it's Black History Month, but yet February means purification or purity, which is whiteness. technically, not because we feel like some Europeans are superior to the Aboriginal, copper complexion, space-suited, natural people here on Earth, who we know as Moors, our Moroccans, Americans, Moabites, Asiatic, original people, etc. You know, this is what it is. So we here for a purpose. We do exist on this plane, but we still in the universe. So as above, so below. We gotta manifest that angel energy right here on Earth. And there's a lot of things to talk about, to message for. You know, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who are not in alignment with who they are, but pretending to be. It's crazy because you even got dirty Moors who will put on the fez and you know, downplay with these messages and these actions, this way of living that is directly in correlation with Noble Drew Ali. They try to act like we're crazy and, you know, out to lunch or whatever. But real talk though, you know what I'm saying? We definitely in alignment with the message of Noble Drew Ali. I don't know what their interpretation is, but you know, I believe I can read. And I read those lessons and I broke them down and I studied them and I planted them in my mind and I watched them actually manifest before me in real life. Even when I thought I was studying some higher degrees, it brought me right back to how writing exactness 101s are. Real shit. It's my expression, but real talk. That's those lessons is on point. Can't nobody tell me nothing about Noble Drew Ali not being right. You feel what I'm saying? In the sense of the fact that the language was so precise with his message as an angel, even on this day, as we honor these angel numbers in this present moment. You know, his mathematics was on point as well. He was not slacking. So, you know, I see it like this: on a political level and on a divine and national level, the 101s will tell you everything you need to know, but you got to look a little deeper than the surface, right? Because in there, he's speaking about why are we Moorish Americans? And the answer is because we're descendants of Moroccans, born in America, which is a deep lesson. But the fact that he didn't say born in the United States is a whole nother one, because America is continental, north, south, and central. And you know, for him to say carry the message to four corners of the earth, that's what Asiatics are for. Then, you know, you gotta see that we always had a global mission, not a circumscribed, you know, corner pocketed mission. Like it was always for you know what I'm saying? Like it's global. It's supposed to be split. So yeah, man, like I just know his lessons just add up. Even when I look this stuff up and other things. Even like I said earlier, just looking at the definition of angel, it literally don't talk about nothing spooky. It talks about a messenger. Real talk. So, you know, I know Nas did the song a while ago. He's a more, but, you know, acknowledged. And he said, some of us have angels, bro. And I know you know what I'm talking about. And that's real talk. Straight facts. A while ago. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is, bro. I just feel like the math is definitely something that we need to look a little bit more deeper into as well, for all the alignments and things of that nature, because that's what true Moor scientists was about. You know, even when we say, well, Moors are the founders of Masonry, do you know how much mathematics, you know, they had to deal with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many levels to mathematics. It's and, you know, we could apply it to different parts of our lives, and, you know, but it's just deep. So, again, I'm honored to be here on this day. Oh, yeah. And I know this was floating around. My aunt put me up on this, I don't know, but my aunt put me up on this. When we was talking about white meaning purity and purity meaning clean, like on the back of the Lysol wipe, like if you get like the pack of Lysol wipes or Clorox wipes, like it say right on there that it kills the human coronavirus.
Yeah.
Word is bond, where it's pink highlighted and it disinfects, like it definitely say right on there that the human coronavirus, it disinfects. Like, and that's old, that's not new. So yeah, I just feel like, it's so much that goes with, according from Noble Drew Ali's perspective in the lessons he left. Even if somebody say I ain't white, I'm black or whatever. I'm just saying from the lessons he left. You know what I'm saying? He's saying straight up. And I get it. I do get it. And I get the other perspective of people not knowing, because that's what they emotionally attached to. But I get his perspective of white meaning purity, you know what I mean? And black meaning death. Because everybody talk about black magic and all of this, and we address this, I believe, Black's audience and whatnot. But, you don't know nothing about no black magic until one of your ancestors who died visit you in the dream, show you something. Talking about no black magic. You know what I'm saying? You're doing shit while you alive. You ain't dead. That ain't black magic. You know what I'm saying? You have to tap into the spirit realm. Talk about black magic, anything. Because in that sense, it goes with the science of what Noble Drew Ali was saying about black meaning death. You think he was an Egyptian adept student and didn't know about death when they always show you and market you Egypt with mummies buried with gold and all these things. You think he ain't know nothing about the science of death and the spirit and the ancestral realm? You can miss me with that. For sure you can miss me with that. So I'm just saying that to say that, the fact is, Noble Drew Ali was on point. I don't care what nobody say. I've seen it check out. You know what I'm saying? I know it's two sides to everything, but I've seen it check out. You know what I mean? So, real talk. You ain't into no black magic unless an ancestor visited you in a dream or something like that. But you doing stuff while you alive with brown skin, talking about you black magicians, but then want to knock Noble Drew Ali for being a magician? Yeah. Like, real talk, that's what they doing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And they give you the hashtag black magic. Get out of here with that. Yeah. It's such with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, bro. Real talk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, here's this thing that I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay. And I ain't advising nobody to go ahead and try to do something you ain't ready for. You know what I'm saying? Because, that shit can backfire on you if you don't know what you're doing. You better study. You know what I mean? He ain't say black according to how I feel means death. This man said black according to science means death. He didn't say black according to nothing else. This man said science, not according to your ability to do cartwheels with no hands. It's not black magic, man. That's life magic. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to leap, that's Olympianism. It's not black magic. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So we really got to understand and give props where it's due to the true and living, and those who are on the spirit side, as above, so below. And angels are the messengers, So when they speak, it's spirit. Spirit means breath. What you think? That's what it is. And then even in his lessons, he goes into the holy breath. So, just giving props where it's due, because two meaning wisdom, or 8, build and destroy, you know what I mean? Then we got to look at this and really acknowledge, like, what's really good. What's today's mathematics.
Right.
Because even in the Circle 7, it's all about wisdom. It tells you that the secrets of Allah are wisdom. He pointed this out the other week, you know. But that's what it is. So, yeah, you know, my fault. I think it's a little deeper than, you know, when we talk about Black history, Black magic, all of these things, you know, Black History Month, the word actually meaning purification. And I know only Studious Moors is going to resonate with this conversation. I'm cool with that. But if you look at the lessons, that's what it say. Black means death, white means purity, February means purity, and if February means white. So how is there a Black History Month during February? I'm just saying, on a whole nother level, not just, you know, they want to show us George Washington Carver, like, you know, he invented peanut butter and all of this, which is great, but like, you know, not to dismiss that, but Moors was creating many things way before that. The indigenous people was creating many things before that. I never had it, but you could go around and ask, you know, they was dealing with plants and herbs for centuries. This is known. You see a lot of them chewing on leaves. You know what I'm saying? You ask the indigenous people of South America about, I think they say it's a drink, ayahuasca. Y'all gotta forgive me. You know what I'm saying? But ayahuasca is something like that. They've been making down there for years, and other ancient fermented herbs. So, you know, Moors been dealing with herbs and spirits for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, you know. That's why they call those types of fermented liquids or grapes or things like this, they say spirits. But what are you tapping into? What frequency? Again, guys, salute to Nabi Poet in the chat. Ayahuasca. Yeah, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. Real talk. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like our indigenous and world history, let alone ours, has been doing so many things with plants and herbs before just George Washington Carver. So I'm not knocking that fact of what he did or whatever. I'm just saying there's so much more for us to get into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much more that's not limited to 1 month, you know. It's not my fault. I didn't mean to go on the rant, but definitely more. That's what I was thinking about. This energy we get now in the whole 22 vibe.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely a building number, master number.
Yeah.
Definitely a master number, angel number for sure. So yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
No, just to go back to the numerology. Vera Stanley Alder, The Finding of the Third Eye. Vera Stanley Alder, on page 113. The early scholars realized that certain sounds linked them up with certain creative principles in nature, and that every sound and quality had its number, which was the sum total of its vibrations. The science of numbers and numerology has, like much of the ancient knowledge, become, through disuse, misunderstood, and debased to the rank of superstition. It is only used now from the limited personal viewpoint, but even so, it can be both interesting and helpful. It is said that before birth, we are drawn to our names, birth dates, and parents by an irresistible affinity with these vibrations, which compose our own characteristics and aspirations, and that a numerologist, by studying the former, is able to tell us that we are and wherein lie our potentiality, our hopes, and our hazards. Each letter and date represents a number. The right reading of these numbers will describe our character and type of life. Each number represents a planet, color, quality, and experience in either its good, bad, or negative aspect. We can map out the life according to the relation in which all its numbers are standing to each other. Those who believe in this science declare that it is extremely useful in the using of vocations and partnerships, and that it would help the handicap of incompatibility can be avoided. Like everything else, it must be used with moderation and common sense, and not in a spirit of idle superstition. The famous American physician, Dr. Abrams, invented an apparatus which measures the vibrations of all the reactions of the human body. He ascertained that every disease has its own numerical value, and that the cure can also be determined by means of numbers. Much, of course, has to be learned and proved about this science, but here again, the fundamental importance of a number is brought to light. The meanings of the primary numbers have been described throughout the ages as follows. 1 represents the first necessary qualities of evolving life, the pioneer of fighting spirit, leadership, and force. A person born on the 1st of any month will be given chances to exercise these qualities. Number 2 represents the second stage in man's developing nature, sociability, and includes affection and all the give and take qualities such as diplomacy and homemaking. And don't forget, today we're on the 2. Number 3 represents self-expression. Man has fought and made friends. Now he wants to give entertainment, beauty, and joie de vivre. People with this birth date should not be expected to be very orderly or reliable. 4 stands for the solid framework of life and the foundations. People attuned to this number will be called the backbone of the country. They are the patient, reliable plotters. 5 represents the 5 senses, experience. It gives travel, variety, and drama to life and progress. The number 6 represents family life, but on a much broader scale than the retiring number 2. 6 stands for guardianship. When a man begins to sense his higher destiny and responsibilities, to care for all families as well as his own, and to offer worldwide hospitality and help. The number 7 represents the final turning of man inwards. Say that again. Yeah,
read that last one again.
Number 6.
Read that last one again, bro.
Number 6 represents family life, but on a much broader scale than the retiring number 2. 6 stands for guardianship. When a man begins to sense his higher destiny and responsibilities, to care for all families as well as his own, and to offer worldwide hospitality and help. You have some thoughts on that more before I go on?
No, I just felt like that had to be said twice.
Oh, Islam. All right.
Go on to 7 because I know
yeah.
That's God number right there. So
the number 7 represents the final turning of man inward to the spiritual life, to the study of sciences and truths, discipline and organization. It is the number of loneliness. In number 8, man, having found his own soul and the power within him, must turn to earth life once more and learn to combine the two. So 8 gives power, organization, and constructive leadership backed by spiritual inspiration. The number 9 represents the perfect and completed man, who, having fully developed himself, must now forget himself in sacrifice and service. Here we have the great lover, humanitarian, and artist. Through this number beats the most high-powered of human vibrations, which has great force to be used for either good or evil. To write down all that is known about numbers will fill volumes. We have not space to do more than take this glance at our primary numbers. They, of course, each belong to their color, planet, and sound. When after some study, it is seen how completely all these facts of life dovetail and fit into their places like an intricate, vast Chinese puzzle, it will be realized that these marvelous theories are too perfect and too near to the truth to be invented by the brains of human beings. This indeed is the reward of a study of these matters, a gradual realization of the amazing fact that there really is a whole universe of marbles and a sublime promise for those who seek. The science of numbers is exhaustive, instructive, and useful if applied with an honest desire for progress and understanding. Modern scientists are busily expressing the ancient beliefs in their own manner. They are measuring the vibrations of diseases of thought, of willpower, and of many other activities and getting them all numbered. They are numerologists in their own way, although they still turn their backs rigidly upon the ancient sciences. Nevertheless, they are bringing to light one fundamental fact, and that is that everything exists through the formation of a different number, and therefore that numbers must constitute a language, a key, and a clue to the many secrets of life if we can learn to decipher them. The Finding of the Third Eye, Vera Stanley Alder. So every number has its frequency, vibration, etc. You know, so when Noble Drew Ali gives us our quote unquote holy book and there's a number on the cover of it, he's saying something to you. He's letting you know what he was studying. So for people now to come and tell you, oh no, you don't need that, all you need is these 4 books that Noble Drew Ali brought only, and they're not employing you to study some other things, and not that you're taken away from what Noble Drew Ali brought by studying other things. You're not disrespecting his teachings by being studious and having a library with more than 4 books in it. But you have to be one who's seeking. And again, only people who vibrate on the frequency are gonna pick up on it. Like that simple. You know, how do you get yourself in that place of vibrating on the frequency? You know what I mean? And that comes with changing your mindset, which is going to change the frequency. And the greatest way to change your mindset is study what Noble Drew Ali brought you. Study what Noble Drew Ali brought you. And when you study what he brought, and using that as a reference point for wherever it is that you go in your studies, you'll realize how vast he was. That he took things that vast and put them in this compact form so you can actually learn something. Instead of being played. You know how much people you know, they go to a lecture or whatever, and they don't have a notebook. They're just there. Like they're watching TV or something. And then you got Moors, they go to the movies with a notepad. You know what I mean? Much less a lecture.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there has to be a level.
And on that note, bro,
yeah,
let me add on this too. Even with the concept you was just saying about coming to a lecture with no notepad, even if you think you get the whole message audibly, that right there is not good, because man knows not by being told. You have to write it down. It's a power of writing something down and seeing something for yourself. You know, like even when you come to a revelation in the book, I mean, I can speak for me in my study, and nothing more, nothing less days. Like, man, if I got my hands on a great book, I wouldn't just read it. Like, I would write everything that stood out to me down.
Yeah.
Like, if it could just be one sentence that just smacked me in the third eye, you know what I mean? I would write it down to commit it to memory. It's not like, oh, yo, he said that and that was hot. And you know, I forget the lyric or the words or the structure of the words a week later. Like, no, I would commit it to memory. So I would highlight and write stuff down so that it didn't be a fleeting thought, you know? But y'all, I wanted to add this on, right? Being as though we are here on 2/20/2020. And of course, we know on its own site, on its own merit, you know, 2020 stands for clear vision, right? Anybody who's been to the eye doctor, you know, 2020 is clear vision. So, you know, look at that, and that's saying something on its own self, on its own merit. You know, this is MHHS, eyes wide open. So we talking clear vision here. So I just wanted to read in consistency with the theme of 2/2/22. I want to read from the book of Soul Knowledge, Enumeration 22. Right? And this is inside the light of Egypt. Just like the Bible got a lot of books. Like you got the book of Genesis, the book of John, the book of Revelation, the book of Numbers, all in one book. Well, there's many books in here. In this book called The Light of Egypt. And this is the book of Soul Knowledge, Enumeration 22. And it says the scene, object of vision, since we're talking about 2020 clear vision, right? So it says the scene, object of vision, after which nothing more is desired to be seen, the existence and union of which there is no fresh birth possible, the knowledge above which there is no knowledge desired, let it be known. This is Brahma, or Allah, or God, or not even God, the great God of the universe. Let's say that, because that's how Noble Ali addressed the Supreme Being. He didn't just say God. This man identified what God. He said the great God of the universe. Not nobody on the corner talking about, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and on that note too, of the know the guy, I sent you the link earlier today, on this day, because it came across my newsfeed. The old European from Kentucky and Ohio who had that situation where he got a license plate that said, I'm God. This is what the European was saying. This man is 80 years old. And he got a license plate that said, I'm God. Right? And Kentucky was trying to fight him about it for the longest time. And he won like after 4 or 5 years. But I'm like, man, you know, because he brought up a constitutional question, you know, a constitutional issue about freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And he utilized that in a way. You read the article. He said he wanted people to think. But on this note of this European dude, right, if he's a part of their society, he's a European. So he's under colonial jurisdiction. It is what it is. So, but his whole point was that he was still God. Like that. And that's just crazy to me. So they denied them in Kentucky, and he sued them and won. And I mean, they only paid him out like $150,000. But you know, I don't want to just say only, but still, you know.
No, but hold on, but check this play though, because they were explaining in the article that the $150,000 was for his legal fees. So what he got was the right to use the plate. So he sued them for violating him, for not letting him use his plate that he wanted to use because of his constitutional right. But they paid out the lawyers and just gave him the right to use the plate. Right, because the lawyer is an officer of the court. Of course, they're gonna get their boy paid. But what you were suing for, what you were suing for was the right to use the plate. You didn't talk about any finance.
Right. You didn't get no punitive damages,
right.
No double damages,
right?
No personal damages. You just got the right to use the plate.
Yeah, and again, and then too, it's a novelty plate. It's the front plate.
Yeah,
it's not
they call them vanity plates.
Yeah, it's the vanity plate.
Yeah, that's what they say under their jurisdiction.
Right.
They call them vanity plates. Like, I'm God, or if you get something like shit happens, like SHT, HPN, like standing for shit happens, they call those vanity plates, yo.
Yeah. Right, so and then the other part is that he's an atheist.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on, but look. For those who read about it, because this is going to be news over the next couple of days, right? He said he's an atheist, but at the same time, he's saying he's God. So, like, what kind of God complex is that? You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, in one hand, this man is trying to get on his state issue license plates. I'm God. That's all he wanted to read. I am, and then space God. I'm God. But you can't. I mean, how are you gonna be an atheist but say that God exists? That's kind of like a contradiction. Now, I don't know, but you know, that's what I'm saying. That's why the freedom of speech is so ill, because people can say or express whatever they want, and that is a constitutional right.
Yeah.
Like, it's a constitutional right. I mean, slander and libel, now you get into, subjecting that, because you can't just say anything. But if you're expressing something like a statement like, I'm God, that's an expression. It's not just a statement. You're talking about yourself. So this old 80-year-old European wants to ride around through Ohio and Kentucky with his state issue corporate jurisdiction license plate that reads he's God. And they fought him for that. Because he's under their jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And their whole thing is, in God we trust.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's so many levels and layers to that. Because what if to me, I know the science that I looked it up. We all looked it up here. The old definition of the word black means pale. That is a big fact. You know what I'm saying? Black means pale. We've seen it and we read it. There's multiple older dictionaries that define that word black as pale. Real talk. So we going through the spectrum and coming up to date, and it's like you got an 80-year-old European talking about he's God, and a lot of people put out the mantra that the black man is God. Is he lying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know what we mean when we say it, like melanated people, heavily melanated people, what they're trying to say, but also, what if he studied those lessons? Why was his constitutional fight something to do with driving in their jurisdiction or license plates and things like that? And this, in the purest sense of the word black man, European man, pale skin nation of Europe, man, is saying that he is God.
No, check this.
He's claiming to be right. I know only Moors who studied the lessons can even relate to what we're saying right now. And I'm sorry for the commenters on YouTube listening to this. This might be going over y'all head, but we're talking to Moors who study right now. I mean, I know that's where I'm coming from. I'm sorry. We're gonna have more broadcasts where we can try to simplify it more for you all. And it's not that you're not welcome, but real talk, only Moors who study the lessons of Noble Ali is gonna keep up this This is a specific, special vibratory day. 2/20/2020. Remember this. And even if you stay up on these lessons, you'll look back and you say, "Oh, this Sons of Allah meant something." Real talk. Yeah, my fault, bro. Because I know when I'm speaking on this white and black thing,
yeah.
speaking from the left, I studied the Noble Drew Ali, not no emotionalism of what they taught us in public school system.
Yeah.
I'm not coming from that with this. You feel me? I understand. I understand. I overstand at this point because, yeah, it's about the knowledge, but in these days, I'm not even picking up books that regularly when the wisdom is coming to me. And the reason why is because I'm on my third degree, which is understanding. And when I say third degree, I mean over 30. You understand? Like over 30 years old. So now I'm letting the wisdom come to me because I've done the study throughout my 20s. And now I get the fact that it has to be activated and led. And then this is where the wisdom comes in. For sure. So I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. I just understand that everybody is not going to keep up with this lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I'm talking to my Moors who study. I salute to y'all.
Islam.
On this white and black stuff. Pardon.
No, go ahead, More.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to get lost in the point. But yeah. My fault. I wanted to use the floor. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom off, but.
Oh yeah, no. I just wanted to read a part of the article with this European, this modern European.
Yeah.
So his,
talk about it, bro.
Yeah. So it's what the hell is it again? Ben Hart. So Ben Hart said he applied for the plate after moving from Ohio in 2016, where he'd already had the message on his vehicle for 12 years. Only a few people had bothered to confront him over the message during the time, including one woman who insisted that he couldn't possibly be God. Hart's reply was that if she could prove it, he would give her the $100 bill he'd been carrying for over 20 years for the person who can prove he's not God. He claims to still have the 100.
Yeah, 100 bills in pockets.
Prove he's not God.
That's the small face joint, bro. That's not even the big face honey. You know what I'm saying? You got a certain age to remember the small face honey. He had this nigga. Yo, this dude had the small face honey for 20 years.
20 years.
Try to get people.
Try to prove right? And now he has his precedent now. He has his precedent. You know?
Yeah. That's crazy, bro. Damn, son. Oh, shit.
He was serious with it.
I'm trying to give a small face. This man has been waiting for the longest time, bro. For proof.
No, he wasn't playing with it. He wasn't playing. He's like, yo, I'm getting my plate, yo. That's some determination right there. So willpower. I want my I'm God plate. I have a constitutional right. You know what I mean? I'm not talking religion right now. Get the hell out of here. I have a right to freedom of speech. I'm atheist. So I don't care. I'm God.
Oh my gosh, bro. This dude is crazy, bro. Any 80, they about to take his license anyway. Oh shit.
He might not be God, but he's more God than any of these Negro black colored people, I tell you that. He's more God than them.
I'm gonna let you go to the grave with that one. You got it.
He got more God than them. Yo, this modern European standing up for some constitutional right. Noble Drew Ali told these Moors this stuff, and they're playing on civil rights or whatever. For a plate, this dude sued for a plate. Vanity plate, novelty. and won, right? And they paid his freaking lawyer fees, right? And he has his plate right now. Right? That's how filthy Black History Month is. Because that wouldn't happen if these people were who they were, and they wouldn't even need a damn Black History Month. They wouldn't need a Black History Month.
That is the funny shit.
You know?
Yo.
So I will tell you, don't hire them lawyers.
Crazy, but salute to him.
Yeah, salute to him, yo. Standing up on his constitutional right more than some of these Moors out here playing around. You know what I mean?
Big fact.
Yeah, yo. Some of these Moors playing around.
Yo, I don't even believe in it.
This dude
this
said
man
suing for a plate.
He got a constitutional victory. And this man said, forget all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about the great God of the universe. This old 80-year-old European man said, I'm God. And that's my argument. And this nigga won the right to use whatever he wanted on a license plate. That's crazy. That's just crazy to me, bro. That is crazy, bro. But it's unique, and it means something in these days and times.
Mm-hmm.
In these days and times, because for him to stand on that right and win whatever his nationality is, because you know, at the end of the day, all nations have suffered slavery. It ain't like, you know, dark-skinned people was the only one to have had suffered slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, these Europeans just realized who they got hit up with this doctrine. Don't think they don't know. You know, a lot of them study occultism, ancient adept lessons, more adept than your grand sheik in the temple. Not you, Kudjo. I'm just saying. In general, these Europeans are more adept. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And out here, you making their mark before they hit the grave. Like, he know he on his way out. He know he on his way out. But you know what that man did? He left a constitutional mark. I don't know what that case is called. It's probably called like Hart versus Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, Hart. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, salute to that old fella for making a constitutional mark. You know, that's something that is needed to be re-emphasized in these days and times, because the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. I shared this with you last week. I promise you, on everything I love, I was on New Jersey Transit. And this is so crazy because it relates back to the freedom of speech. This older sister, I don't know her from nothing. She came on the bus, and I just happened to be on the bus this day. And, you know, she came on, and she was short 75 cents. I gave her 50 cents, and another sister gave her 25. We got one block away. She was going in. Remind you, this is so-called Black History Month when this happened, right? She starts going in on everybody on the bus, but she's going in about MLK, right? And I shared this with you.
Yeah.
But for the listening
Yeah,
audience,
yeah.
I want y'all to really grasp this right here. Real talk. I don't know this lady from nothing. I just felt this was an older woman because she played the nobody got 75 cents for a senior citizen card. I'm like, shit. Yeah, I got 50. That's all I had, 50 cents on me. That's the only change was 50 cents. And another sister had 25. And when she said that, I'm like, all right, bet I got you. So I gave her the 50 cents. The other sister gave her the 25. She sits down and starts going in. She's like, and mind you, this is so-called Black History Month. She starts going in about MLK like, yo, yeah, whenever you see doctor in front of MLK, I swear this just came out of nowhere. We talking about messengers, First Amendment. Okay, she says, whenever you see doctor in front of MLK, it's a sign of disrespect. And all it means is he was an educated Negro. This is her exact words. All that doctor means is he's an educated Negro. And it's a disrespect to call him a doctor because he was a reverend. He wasn't no doctor. And you should spray paint DR out whenever you see that for the MLK's name. I swear to on everything I love, this is what she said. And we only got to ride one block because the bus driver was a Negro, not a denationalized Moor in a sense. And for whatever reason, she took offense to what this woman was saying. So when she said that and she started going in, mind you, we close to Atlantic City, so on this particular instance, so she told this European woman, she said, yeah, y'all getting all the attention right now, but if I put you in some pumps and some high heels and take you to the casino, you're going to get all the attention. You get all the money because they don't love us no more. The dark-skinned woman is being cast out, and we need to, some of her points was off, but she said, yeah, the only way is to get these white women and impregnate them. Then they'll leave us the fuck alone. Excuse my expression. This is what she said. Twist it, whatever you want to call it. She said that. She said this, bro. And I'm like, sitting right next to me. I'm like, oh shit, if this ain't CM Bay lessons. Now, I know Noble Dry Lee for sure. I ain't trying to amalgamate with no pale skin nations of Europe. But I swear to God, why is this happening to me right now? Like, why is she sitting next to me? She ain't looking at me. She's looking at everybody else on the bus, just going in. I'm like, oh shit. Like, and the bus driver gets offended, and she's a dark melanated sister. So she pulls over. We only got to ride one block before getting the lesson. I had like 3 more blocks to go. I'm like, damn, I wanted to get this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was going in on him. And so the bus driver called the cops. She called the cops, bro, to remove this sister off the bus, right? She calls the cops. I swear to God, we was one block from the police station. I know the city. We was one block from the police station. It took them 20 minutes to come. So now we just sitting there. But I want to see what happened at this point. I'm just on the edge of my seat, literally like, what the fuck is about to happen? I tried to tell her sister, yo, I feel you, but they going in. And she told me to shut the F up. And I was like, you know what, you got it. I ain't saying nothing. This is your moment. I'm just trying to let you know you about to call the police. So I ain't got look, at this point, I ain't got no jurisdiction, Kudjo. She told me to shut up. I was like, got it. All I was trying to tell the mother was that she calling the police on her. That's all I was trying to tell her. She didn't give a F, bro. She did not care, bro. This was her time to shine, bro.
So she was the 222.
Yo, because like while she's doing all of this, she's in her zone.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
She don't know at this time that the sister is calling the police on her. I'm just like, yo, this chick is about to call the police on you. She said, shut the F up. I'm like, oh shit. Like, damn, I just got to experience it at this point. old jurisdiction. I just got to experience this experience, right? So, so it's finally, she, like, after 15 minutes, she's like, I can't believe they ain't come yet. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe they ain't come yet. We only 1 block away, and usually they be out here riding on their bikes. Like, yeah, it's kind of cold outside. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. These niggas don't give they don't care either. You know what I'm saying? So, so they finally come. I swear to God, I don't know how she was aware because she was still going in on the whole time. Oh, no, pardon me. I swear, this is the key part. She said, the bus driver said, yeah, I don't know why they coming. They not coming. But if anybody else, feel free to call the cops as well. I swear to God, it was only 2 people who picked up the phone to also call the cops. And guess what their phenotype was? Guess what the description is? Guess what the description is? It was 1 European woman, because she was going in on a species, and there had to be 1 denationalized Moor in the status of a Negro. Them 2 both picked up their cell phones to also call the police on his sister. I swear, that was every nationality on the bus. Borinquins, denationalized Moors, Europeans, everybody was on. And then there was 2 sisters from the islands too.
Yeah.
And they said that the sister was tripping. I'm like, yo, nah. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, y'all tripping. You know, I only got 3 more blocks to go, but I got to see this shit. Because, yo, real talk. So when she getting off the bus, the police finally come on the bus to remove her. And when she seen them pull up, she came up to the sister who is the bus driver. And she says to her, she said, look at you, sis. You a beautiful, dark-skinned woman. You making $60,000 to $100,000 a year, and you calling the po-po on me? That's fucked up. That's the last thing she said, yo. And they came and escorted her off the bus, bro. Real talk. And that's the real public shit. Like, that's the real, yo, that happened.
Yo,
last week.
Social justice.
Like,
social justice, yo.
Social justice.
Social
but this
justice.
European can ride around with a license plate that says I'm God, bro.
Wow.
You feel me? Like, but all she was doing was expressing her wisdom. And we didn't get to ride 1 full city block. Word up. Word is mine. We did ride 1 full city block. And then she pulled off. She made the left-hand turn, pulled over, and would not move. She wanted this system removed off the bus. So I'm just saying, it's nothing wrong with getting the pulse of what goes on out in public, out in the world. And that just blew my mind to, like, out of all days I could be on the bus, I'm on the bus at this moment, and this is happening. She's going in on MLK being an educated Negro when he got doctor in front of his name, because he's not a doctor, he's a reverend. You know what I'm saying? And seeing the Stevens and the Stephanies. These was the only 2, besides the 1 sister who was driving the bus, who pulled out their cell phone to also call the police on her. So I said, yo, you gotta watch out for the Moorish male who doesn't get no Gujarati's lesson, and these modern European women who don't understand either. You know, real talk. That's what you gotta watch out for, because they will definitely call them boys on you, and that's what they did. You know, and it was. When she told me, I was just trying to tell her, look, if she calling the police on you, I feel your wisdom, but you might want to tone down, just because I'm just trying to let you know that's what's happening. But she was so locked in, I was like, okay, I can't say nothing. When she told me to shut the F up, I'm like, okay, you got it. This is your show. I just, whatever. So yeah, man, I'm sorry, but I had to correlate that with this whole freedom of expression, because somebody could ride around with a state issued driver's plate that says I'm God, but you get a sister who may be teetering on the poverty line, riding a bus saying that, you know, and maybe not either. But she's riding around saying that, you know, MLK doctor in front of his name is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, I don't know. I don't know if you got the ability to do this, but I'm watching the chat. You should block Jay White SG.
Is that Jay
Real
White?
talk. He coming in the chat with some BS, y'all. You should block
Jay
that,
White
whoever
SG.
that is.
Okay, I see him.
Yeah, block Jay White SG. Yeah. You come in this room, you can't ever come in this room with that crazy. Yeah, no, you getting blocked for saying that, bro. You should, yeah, there we go. Yeah, man, I'm just saying that you still listening, Jay White, you can't come in here making statements like that. I don't care. Like, when you're on Sons of a Lie, not tolerating that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not acceptable. It's an experience that we were sharing, and we're not here to judge whether she should or should not be in jail. It was an experience. You missed the lesson. You missed the point. And if you're missing the point, ain't no point of you commenting anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so look blocking him, man. That's crazy. You know? Yeah, nah, cause that's just crazy. You missed the whole point of the lesson. You know what I mean? And this is not no goofball day. We here on 2/20/2020. This ain't for goofballs.
Yeah, sorry,
You know
sorry,
what I
chat.
mean? This ain't for
Sorry, chat muftis. I know you had the scimitars out and you were about to just chop him to death, but you know.
Look, these niggas, yo, he's a bot though. He came back with another page called Jay White. Y'all internet dudes, oh man.
That's how you know they're that's a professional troll right there, yo. That's a professional troll. That's a troll master. That's a troll master. Yeah, he has the freaking crystal ball and the whole troll shit.
From Jay White SG to Jay White without the SG and talking about let it go. Nah, man, you ain't getting no burn in here, Jay. You ain't getting no burn, bro. You funny though. That was funny as hell. Yo, that's how we know they sent, bro. That's how we know. Cause he's too ready. You gotta be DJ, right? You super beat. You knew you would get blocked. He had a backup account.
Got a backup account on him.
He had a backup account ready. He's used to getting blocked. Like, this dude is a lame, son. Straight ready to get blocked. How you got a backup account in 30 seconds, bro? That's crazy. Y'all are some crazy people on the internet, bro. These dudes. These are lame.
Oh shit. My stomach.
Look, this nigga comes. He has with the all caps.
The all caps now. Now he has the all.
You was sick.
He's the truth, yo. He's the truth. He's the fucking yo. This is the troll it man. This is the troll it man right here, yo. It man troll.
You are sick, bro. No. Alright, Jay. Damn, bro. You just forcing your way in the cycle with asking to not be blocked. Yo, we giving this crowd too much attention.
Yo, he's serious. He's serious.
Yo. Yeah, but yeah, man. My issue was this dude was trying to say. My issue with this dude was trying to say she belongs in jail, and I don't never condone that. I don't think that for the situation I was previously speaking about, the sister speaking her mind on MLK, I personally don't think that is something that warrants being in jail. The sister spoke her mind, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? That is definitely that. So, yeah, man. Yeah, bro. So, yeah, you know. Oh, man. So it's 10:41. We could go in all night.
Yeah.
But I see there's the caller, and I don't know. Right, yo, if this is Jay White, like, yo, let's see what's good with the caller. Yo, this is crazy. Alright, caller 229-200. You live on the air. You with this?
Yeah, man, I hear you. Jay White live.
Yo, you are good, bro. Yo, what's up, bro? What you want to talk about tonight, man?
Yeah, man, no, I hear you, man. The topic where I didn't get to I wasn't there for the beginning of your discussion in the earlies. I kind of come in late in the topic. What I know is sons of Allah. What I don't know really, you know, what's the message in this for this discussion, the discussion of sons of Allah.
So what you calling in for? What you want to talk about, bro?
I call him me and Jay White, you know. I joking with you.
What?
I joking with you. You didn't catch that. I don't catch it, but you didn't catch it.
Man, look, man.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Yeah.
You like 1 second away from being blocked for coming on this line playing, man. What you call in for, man?
No, that's not Jay White. That's not Jay White. That's not Jay White. Yeah, that's not Jay White. That's somebody else calling it.
No, I hear Jay White. So I was just chiming in.
You're taking up too much of the show with this Jay White. What you want to talk about, my brother? We thank you for calling in. What's your issue?
Right.
We thank you for calling in. What you want to talk about? We don't want to talk about Jay White. What's your issue? What subject matter you want to talk about?
I just mentioned that. I just told you. I already told you.
All right. So what's up?
So what? So the initial.
You were listening to me. You had Jay White in your mind. What I was telling you is that I did not come in the beginning of the show, so I don't know what the discussion was about.
Who are you, though? Like, what's your appellation? State who you are, so we can move forward. Who are you?
Well, I called yesterday. You never asked for the appellation, but my appellation is Michael.
Islam.
Alright, bro. I love my brothers and sisters, but I had to let this dude go. He's wasting our time. And I just don't have time for that. Not on this day, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he's playing or serious, but I'll say this. Hold on, pause. Was you about to add something on, brother?
No. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, okay. Alright, caller 252. You live on the air. You with us?
Peace and love, brothers. Nasaj Bay.
Islam, Mark.
Calling from Northwest Mexico, North Carolina territory. I personally just not particularly on the discussion tonight about numerology or anything like that, but I have some general questions, and I wasn't sure as to whether or not this is the time to ask them. You know, it's in regards to my studies, everything from RV Bay publications to the Constitution and our rights, human rights, so forth and so on. So, I mean, should I ask now, or is there
you're good.
that I can ask my questions?
You're good. You could ask them now, Mark.
Well, it was one thing, well, a few things in particular in regards to the Constitution and something that was something that's posted on the RV Bay Publications website is in the things that they don't want you to know PDF. It's set towards the bottom of the What's New page, talking about the laws in America that most don't know but should. And it talks about states having no more judicial courts, haven't been in America since 1789, and the number 9 states that there have not been any judges in America since 1789. Now, my purpose in mentioning that is because if that's the case, and we're only dealing with administrators throughout, if they violate our human rights, who is going to make them pay for that? Who do we petition to make them pay for that? And how are we supposed to go about doing it? Who's going to subpoena them and, make them live up to what their oath that they've taken to uphold the Constitution?
Well,
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever studied definition of court? Like, do you have any law dictionaries?
I have a pocket edition of the Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition.
Okay, yeah, throw that away and get the revised 4th edition. It's bigger than your head, I promise you. And you look up the definition of court in that one. Understand your nationality and see what the definition of court is in international law. The section where it says under the definition of court in international law, and your national answer be right there. So, all the courts are administrative. It's about nationality, and the answer is right there. Like, you gotta, even to bring up the subject matter of what courts, do you even know what court is? Right? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Do you know what court is? Right? And if you do, and you understand your nationality, international law, okay, then your answer is right there in what the subject matter is. It really is, bro. You just gotta study that.
And this is the 4th edition you're referring to, correct?
Yeah, no pocket law dictionaries. Pocket law dictionaries are not really useful, bro, unless you got your own notes compiled in the pocket-sized little booklet. But that's not gonna cut it. Like, you gotta follow up study. So if you even bring up the subject matter of what courts, and you don't understand what a court is in law, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to look a little deeper into what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, the other thing that it mentioned was that when it's talking about the people, that does not include you and me. Is that talking about those without a nationality? Is that talking about naturalized citizens? And it states as well that we can't use the Constitution to defend ourselves because we're not a party to it. Now, I figured that it said that is because we're not subjects of the so-called states.
Bro, who said we can't use the Constitution?
It was number 17 under that same page.
And which page is this you're referring to again?
It's towards the bottom of the What's New page on RV Bay Publications. Is from Laws in America Most Don't Know But Should, number 17. It states that we cannot use the Constitution to defend ourselves because we're not a party to it. And then under Do You Know Your Rights, that's also on RV Bay, it states the government is put in place to protect and secure the pre-existing and inalienable rights of the people and the citizens, but yet we can't use the Constitution to defend ourselves. I was a bit thrown back by that So
because keep
and again, I'm a beginner. I'm a beginner in this. So I understand if now is not the time for this, and I just need to. I've only been studying about 2 months now.
No, this is what the brother was relaying, that the subject matter that you're presenting is answered with study. So like if you're only 2 months, right? So for example, like when if you're talking about the perspective of the Constitution and how that applies and whatever, did that get looked up? Opposed to assuming, yeah, you know what I mean? But again, if you looked it up in the pocket dictionary, you're not getting the proper perspective. Because the pocket, even though it says 4th edition, it's 4th edition from being abridged. It's not 4th edition from, you know, hardcover on the bottom shelf of the bookshelf.
Understood.
Right. Okay. So in your studying with, especially if you're using RV Bay as a reference point, you want to have certain things with you, like dictionaries, so that, and the right dictionaries, so that as you're reading the website, you're looking up things and you're learning at the same time. You're not just looking at the website. And, you know, we get it because you're just into the information or whatever like that. So, you know, the learning curve is wide, right? But you need to be making hard rights and hard lefts with this. You're not making, you know what I mean, the big donut turn. So at 2 months, you're in a great place because you're here. You could be anywhere else. But know that with studying, which is what a lot of this is about, you'll answer your own questions. So you give it a 2 more months. Yeah. You give it a 2 more months and then revisit that same thing that you're talking about. And you'll see that you have a totally different perspective of it than you do right now. Guaranteed. Because with your knowledge getting more vast, so does your perspectives of things. But welcome home, and you know, just keep studying. This is about exactly what you're doing, trying to find out the truth about your nationality and your birthrights and existing on this plane as such.
I appreciate it. Peace and love. I yield the floor.
Islam, more. Thanks for calling in.
Islam.
Yeah, and I seriously don't see where you talk about number 17. I don't see that at all. But yeah, nonetheless, man, stay studying. Like I said, man, look up courts in international law. Keep going with your nationality, and definitely hit us back. You know, we got some more questions down the line. But to even entertain the subject matter without understanding is really not wise. So, with that being said, we're going to go to the next caller. Caller 510-799. You're live on the air. Peace, man. With it.
Peace, brothers.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yes, this is Emmanuel, not your person in full life, but only on American national title. Just call it appreciate, let y'all brother know I appreciate everything y'all do. And just wanted to make a public announcement on that. Declare my nationality as a Moorish American. Freeholder by birthright, primogeniture and inheritance, Aboriginal, natural, Aboriginal, Native, Aboriginal, Native American. And I just got a copy of the Constitution last week for the first time. So I've been studying for quite a while, but I never really could connect things because I never had that document. And so now I can link AA 222141 up and get a better understanding of what's going on there. So I do appreciate everything y'all brothers been doing, and I listen and I learn a lot from y'all, and I yield the floor.
Islam, man.
What's that?
Islam, that's peace, brother. Keep studying up. Make sure you study up on that AA 222141. You know,
yeah,
that's definitely. Make sure you study that well as far as it being the United States Code and whatnot. So,
also, yeah, that's a certificate also, right? Registered with the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
Right. Has been registered, actually.
Yeah. Been in there. Been in there.
Yeah. And remember this too. Everything at the Library of Congress is not surface. Like they have, you know, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say this, and I know that Noise did this way back in the day, but I'm thankful for the modern days for Brother Settenrod and his wife taking that trip or making that trip accessible for Moors to go to the Library of Congress, because real talk, man, there's levels to that Library of Congress. There's even an underground section that you can see from the outside if you go to the Thomas Jefferson building. And they tell you as well that you can make appointments with the guide to show you different things, you know. So, you know, everything is not just the surface level, like the magnanimous, great artwork that you see on the walls and mosaic tiles and all of that. That's A1, but it's a little, yo, my fault. We got 90 seconds left for anybody listening on the Blog Talk Internet. You can call in now at 319-527-6751. That's 319-527-6751. And this is also streaming right now on Canaanland Boys YouTube page. So, it goes down on you for the last hour. So yeah. Keep studying more.
Yeah.
So those records.
I got a question also too. As far as the police officers, they operating on a fuel law and fees. Is that right? And the lawyers are opposite of that title.
Yeah. Well, they're not officers first. They're not even officers.
Employees, basically. Agencies. Yeah.
They're hired employees. Right, they're hired employees. So, you know, officers are elected.
Right. But the Superior Court is right. But they still operate under feudal law once you go to a hearing, basically. It's not right. That's the
So what was you about to say about the Superior Court?
Well, the Superior Court is when, you know, because I experienced that once before. And I didn't know about the Zodiac at that time. I didn't have a copy of it. But the point is that real property is disguised in the feudal system. And so, and it refers to a fee. And I know a loyal title is free and clear. You know, you have no feudal duties or fiscalage. And, you know, so that title supersedes that the real property feudal law system, and so they really have no jurisdiction from that point. And really, I was just reading the international law of the court, Black's Law Dictionary, page 425. So it says, can I read it up?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Please do. Under international law, right?
Yeah. Page 425, the person in suit of the sovereign, the place where the sovereign sojourns with his regal routine, wherever that may be. So,
his regal
I know this. Say again?
That's not soup. That's wheat, and that's not routine. That's retinue. But I do know what you're saying, and that is right and exact. It's the place regal wheat of the soft. Yeah, and it's exactly.
Sojourns where his regal retinue. Right. Retinue, wherever that may be. Right, my fault. Right. So that's a definition of court international law. Black's Law, Henry Campbell's dictionary. Yeah. So basically, again, they operate on a feudal system, and they really have no jurisdiction over us, no way. The Moors. And right, I'll just making that known.
Yeah, no, but if you really know your nationality and how to enforce that, though, because it's one thing to know it's one thing to say, hey, I'm a Moor, and that's true. But what does nationality entail? Because now you're on a whole nother level of law, when you about dealing with other nations.
Right. So now you're talking about national domicile. Yeah, your civil status referring to your national domicile was one. Your political allegiance or reference to your political regions, which would be political allegiance would be a Moabite with a political jurisdiction as a Moorish American national. Is that correct? Right.
Yeah, so you have to understand what nationality entails to even understand or understand or overstand why you would even bring it up in the same subject matter as court. Because without understanding it from a national or international perspective, you always gonna be acting like you're subject to the jurisdiction thereof without knowing your jurisdiction. And being nationals, it has nothing to do with being a part of no consular court, because as Moors, Americans, our Moroccans here in the Western Hemisphere, we know historically, accurately, we are home, Aboriginal indigenous people, and that this land has been colonized. So and they are speak about court, understand depths of your nationality and what that means, then you gonna basically be like on a hamster wheel trying to, I know what this. Right. And that don't mean that you gotta erect a consular court, because if according to international law, court is wherever the sovereign is at. Not no sovereign citizen, but I mean what the word mean on its own merit. You understand? Then justice is always going to be taking its course. So it ain't even no need to worry about that. Like real talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Well, I have to make that announcement because, it seems like I'm being watched, on the radar, so to speak, because I'm, got a few things I'm working on. So I see the signs every day. I can't escape the signs. So it seems like as though I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know what they're trying to prove, or that's why I had to make this public announcement just for the records, being Emmanuel Bay, and I'm not black, nigger, or African American color. Let that be known. And so this is my way of making an announcement for the public records. And that's my say on that. Yeah.
Well, that's peace, brother. That's peace.
Yeah. So
thank you for
yeah. I appreciate everything y'all do. Y'all brothers, got some serious knowledge. I learned a lot from y'all. I got to give it to you. So I'll stay tuned, and I yield the floor. Once again, thanks for everything.
Peace and love, more.
No doubt about it.
All right, peace.
Peace and love, more. Yeah. All right, so that being said, we're going to go to the next caller. But I'm looking at the chat, Kudjo, and I got to give a big shout out to the sister Roots K Bay in the chat, yo.
Islam.
I mean, real talk. Excellent female MC. I don't know. I trust the sister can hear this. I never got to talk to the sis, but sis, I love your lyricism and style through your lyrics. So I just want to give an acknowledgement to the sis. It's good to even see her. All the women, but Wuske got exceptional skills with the lyrics, bro. I love what y'all doing up there with that. So yeah, for sure. Salute to that woman. And that being said, we're gonna go to the next caller. Caller 601-383. You live on the air. Peace, family, with us.
All right, peace and love, what you mean?
Peace, more.
Hey, I know exactly what you're talking about. I made some mistakes by I claim my nationality, but I guess I didn't. Well, I didn't study like that. I guess I was misunderstanding a whole lot of things when I was reading, and I spoke with a native, I can't pronounce the name. Talked to her a couple of times. I also tried to reach out to Canaanland a couple of times. I got a couple of tickets, man, and I thought I was supposed to be going to the municipal court, but I made my mistake. That's why I made my mistake by going in them when I should have bypassed them, and I ran into a whole lot of problems. But the job right about that. You got to know what your nationality stand for. What it is, and your birthrights and everything, and all this stuff go hand in hand, man. But I caught myself just not putting in the work that I should have been putting in. But I take a step back and just relook. I just didn't do everything like I thought I was supposed to be doing, man. That's all. Hello?
There's a lot more. We got you.
And there's another place outreach that people that we can communicate with as far as like when we run into problems, when we are trying to study, but we can't answer our own problems. We need somebody we can reach out to when we run into problems. As far as understanding certain things, I know we have to put in work in order to handle the affairs of man, but at some places, man, at some points, we need to try and communicate when you don't understand certain things. I have a problem in a certain area, if you know what I'm talking about, as far as when you're studying.
Well, as far as when we look at Noble Drew Ali as the focal point of study, it's divine first. So divine first means that you leave all old business as it is and you study. And you don't start trying to do things until you're there. And ego saying you're there and higher self saying you're there is two different perspectives. So be careful when you think you got something and you're going to go out there and exercise it because you think you got something. And then on the level of being able to interact with Moors when you have some type of issue or whatever, that's what the whole thing is about with us having, for example, our chat or whatever, that we put this online so that Moors could connect with Moors, because we already know how it is that there's Moors wherever they're at and it's just them there and them and some other Moors, and then over there some whoever else. So calling into this show, is part of that having somewhere to reach out to, that if you got issues you can ask some questions, because we know that it's not out there like that. we know that people came into this. Oh yeah, 11/11, by the way. People came into this, and they're putting out as if they have something better than what Noble Drew Ali brought. Then people get caught chasing things that really have no merit. When if they would have stuck home instead of going out and experimenting like this is some date night or whatever, trying to find a mate, they buckle down and put some time into studying. Like we talk about, years ago, when we say studying, sun's coming up and you still have the book on your lap. And you don't even know where the time went. But you weren't here because you were studying. So
yeah. It's amazing, man. How I can just listen to some of you guys, and like I said, I call in to Anita Bay show sometimes, and just lit things, man. Like I said, I may not have it all, but I can hear you guys. Like I heard this. I forgot the other brother that was talking about the lady on the bus. It's just amazing, how sometimes you can just hear certain lit things, and it just started clicking. Not about what he was talking about, the lady on the bus. It's just certain things, y'all. He said other things, but there's certain things, man, y'all can just say, man, it just does me a world of good, just by hearing y'all talk about the knowledge, hearing y'all talk about Numerology, just about the things, like I say, just the things y'all say, just being a part of this conversation, just listening to y'all talk, man, it really hits me out a whole lot. Like I said, I made a couple of mistakes when I got me a couple of tickets, and I thought maybe I was doing the right thing by going to the municipality. And I understand the meaning of the word court. I can't speak of the law term, but a court is really not really a court. But like I say, man, just listening to you guys, man, I appreciate y'all a whole lot. About what y'all doing. Another thing about some of the things when I went to court, I challenged the jurisdiction, but even though I was in the wrong spot, I know he knew what I was talking about because he was stunned. I asked him was it order 3 judge, but that was the wrong place at the wrong time for me to try to do what I was doing. And that's why everything turned out the way it turned out, But anyway, man, like I said, I enjoy listening to y'all, man. I'm continue on listening to y'all, man, and this is where I can up my game on my knowledge about, everything. So I appreciate y'all, man. You're the floor.
Islam, more. Give thanks for calling in.
Indeed. Big thanks. All right. So that being said, at the moment, thanks to the brothers and sisters that called in. We don't have any more callers at the moment. But yeah, man, we could ride it on out. Tonight was a great build. I believe. I feel like that. And, these angel numbers stay talking to us, bro. I know some people may not have gotten the message just yet. And a divine conversation can turn into an earthy one. I personally, at this particular frequency I'm at now, bro, like real talk, like I don't even think about the European no more like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, as far as them having any say so, we know they do what they do, but I don't even manifest like that with them on my mind no more. Like, I don't even care what they doing. I do. I care for us to know. I really do, from the sincerity of my heart. But like I said earlier, man, I study throughout my 20s. And in my 30s, I'm letting the wisdom come to me that's far through what I'm actually doing in life. And, I fell back from posting a lot on social media and whatnot. But I'm going to reboot it for sure. But right now, I'm going through an experience I haven't went through before, which is action and wisdom coming from action as far as building. And we here on the master builder number 2222. You know what I mean? And I just feel like at this point in time, bro, I'm just
I don't care about the European. Like, I don't. You know what I mean? Because I had moments where I felt like they don't care about us. You know, and I'm like, I'm to manifest, not to in no way acquiesce or anything like that. But I don't even give them that space in my mind no more. And that's real talk, bro. I don't even think about them in the sense of them having authority of anything I'm trying to do to manifest in life. I was speaking with a brother that it's crazy, bro. Like my life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, period. But I was speaking with a brother who we had the same tribal appellation growing up, you know, and never could make the link, but we always knew we was family. And, you know, his thought process present day is great, it's good, but it's coming from his perspective. And his perspective right now is really not mine, but that's still fam to me. I don't think like how he thinks. Like, I'm not trying to be in nothing crazy, nothing lower self. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I grew, you know, from teenage years to now. You know, shit can happen, but I don't resonate on that frequency. And I'm realizing the growth, you can realize your own growth in your old circle. I don't know if anybody ever taught on that note, but look at the friends you knew 10, 15, 20 years ago and see where y'all both at today and what the vibe is, you know, sincerity, whatever it is, but what is y'all lives like, and see if y'all resonate. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all don't, ain't no hard feelings, but it's just like sometimes you gotta know when you grow to a certain stage in life. So at this point, for what I'm trying to do, I know my divine mission is and my divine duty is, I just can't care about the European like that. I have to protect myself and my family. We all do. We have to protect ourselves and our families from any harm, because it ain't just these Europeans. Certain parts of this world and these streets on this planet Earth where it's so-called niggas that you got to worry about more than these Europeans. Real talk. That is for real deal holy field on this planet Earth. Pun intended on holy field. Holistic earth. Holistic fields. You know what I'm saying? That it's not always just the European. Noble Drew Ali said more than anybody, his people needed to learn to love instead of hate. And some of these brothers and sisters are just haters. And you got to leave them where they at until they get on these degrees. So with that being said, I know we don't have much time, but I do want to take the next caller. We do have another caller. I trust this is, you know, the Brethren Nazim, but this is caller 623-907. Peace, Noble. Are you with us?
Yes, peace, brother man, and Grand Sheik Kudjo.
Yeah, peace.
It's love. Peace,
what I'm saying, numbers don't lie. I remember the numbers to the people. You heard?
Yes, sir. I know you was talking about the numbers tonight. One of the things that resonated with me is 2020. If you subtract 580 from 2020, and we want to stay in our culture, right? You got 1440. 1440 Moorish calendar year. 1440 adds up and equals 9, the vibration of that 9. And that's the Moorish calendar year. So we in this year, the number 9, which is very important for Moors conscious or unconscious throughout the world right now. Number 9 meaning completion. So all those who've been studying is great. All those who's getting it now is super, because it's going to be those who don't get it. So that's just a reflection on talking about 2020, the Julian calendar year or the Gregorian calendar year. But I wanted to bring it back to the Moorish calendar. And how we do that is track up
2020 is 44. Facts. My fault. If you double up 22, that's 44. And we already know it's going to be 144,000. So, you know, in that sense, you right on point, bro. Real talk. It's the numbers don't lie.
They don't lie. You know, and because we know what? That numbers is the language of what? The language of science. All right? So we must understand that. All right? And another point I wanted to make, because people calling in about the driver's license and going into court and these things. Moors have to get this here thing and really, 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 before they take any step, understand where they at and who they dealing with and what they dealing with. You know, you talking about these county municipal courts and these things, but when you look on the paperwork and you go to these places, you're dealing in the criminal justice system. But Moors don't deal with criminal justice. Moors, see, when you're talking on a higher level, you're talking about the Department of Justice, not the Department of Criminal Justice. See, because justice is not a crime. So understand where you at and you dealing in these lower courts. You walking in and out of these criminal justice systems dealing with criminals, thinking that you're going to get a good result. Where you want to deal with is the justice system, which is one of the 12 houses. One of the 12 departments is the justice system. So those were just things that I wanted to drop because I was listening and listening to the show, and brothers is calling in, dealing with those things, because it's two things you want to learn as a Moor to stay out of, and one is the criminal justice system.
Straight up.
That's when and the other one is maybe understanding your health and stay out of these hospitals and things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one more point. I know you was talking about black magic earlier, and I was sitting back and listening, and I was just acquiring, you know, the attribute of just listening, you know, and then it resonated and it kept resonating with me, and I said, let me call Brother Miz and the Sons of Allah and just drop a key here. You know, when you're talking about magic, we got to be careful as Moors, because we know magic deals with tricks, and we spirit man, and spirit man don't deal in tricks. You know, we deal with the real thing. We don't deal with the reflection, and the reflection would be the magic.
Islam.
You know, so
true.
Yeah, so we want to be careful, you know, with that vibration that we put out there about the magic, because we spirit man. And I say to all those young Moors who's becoming conscious now during this number 9, get you, and I can't say it enough, you know, before you get out there on the national level, get this message on the divine level. So get you a Circle 7 and get you a 101 and read it from cover to cover, front to back, and back to front. And read it over and over and over again. And then you'll understand, what the prophet brought, because when the prophet was bringing people into the temple, the prophet gave them 2 things. He gave them a Circle 7, he gave them a 101. So let's understand these things, you know, because if you jump out there into these other things on the national level without the protection of the divine, you're going to create a lot of troubles in your life. So bring yourself up to a higher vibration so that you can study on a higher level. Start reading, you know, for all those who call in and they talking about court and running in there and doing the wrong thing. Take your time before you do anything else. Get a Circle 7 Get a one-on-one and read them from cover to cover, back and forth. And it's going to do something for you. It's going to do something for you in dealing, and you'll feel the elevation of unfolding and that God unfolding in you.
Islam more. And just to add on to your point,
Islam,
which is why it's really a ritual that you do this divine first, because that's what Noble Juali presented. And he told you that if you don't have him up front, you're not going to make it through.
That's right. You're going to burn in the fire.
So, you know, if you're, you know, and he said he's going to let the fire burn some of the good Moors' coattails too.
Yes, sir.
Right? So.
Great point.
So know that it's a ritual. You know, same thing that we're talking about with you know, the spirit man and magician. Noble Jolly was spirit man. So things that he said, you better heed. Right. More that better heed to things that Noble Jolly said if you know what's good for you. You know, because it's a ritual. It's not just some words. He wasn't just holding up the Quran and the 101 just to hold it up. That was a ritual. He didn't bring us the flag back just so we can have a flag. That was a ritual. Isn't that the same star that they put upside down and they do stuff with it? What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was supreme advanced. He was on the next level with this. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, you know, when the prophet arrives, usually the people aren't ready because they're in a state of mental slavery. So it's going to take them generations to actually realize, you know, which is really prophecy, because they said that, you know, the 50 years is going to take you to figure out what I brought you. You know, so it's all deeper. Yes. It's all deeper thing going on. You know what I mean? It's always a deeper thing going on, not just, you know, go to the court, show this paper, and then stuff get dismissed. Yeah, that probably happens sometimes. It probably happens like that sometimes, where Moors don't even have to go in the building and their stuff gets dismissed. You know what I mean? But that's not novice. That doesn't just happen just because you started saying you're a Moor yesterday. That happens because you're seasoned. You know what I mean? That happens because you've gone through the fire. You know, you've had your losses. You know, so you could appreciate your wins more.
Yes, Islam. So yes, one of those things is to push that circle 7 and to push that 1-on-1, especially for all the Moors that starting out. You know, it's like if it's 7 degrees, you know, and you out there listening, and you on Google and you on YouTube and you on those things, and you see someone comes on and talking, and they giving the 3rd or the 4th degree, and you haven't gotten the 1st and the 2nd degree. You know, and then you stepping out there with what they saying on that 4th degree. So step back, get you that circle to 7. You know, get truly understand that 1st degree, that you're not black, Negro, colored, Ethiopian, and then move on from that perspective. And it'll help you take care of all this other stuff that will and it will come to pass for all this other stuff.
Islam, bro.
Islam, bro. Thanks for calling in and adding on. Yo, but I gotta say, man, from what the brother was just saying, it's so real, because there's many talents. There's some people who don't even believe in years. They believe in cycles of hundreds of thousands of years, and they count them. We could get into the yugas, all of that. But when the brother mentioned the criminal justice system versus the justice system, and the fact that some of these people in the justice system are criminals. Yo, Kudjo, this is crazy, right? Because, and I know this might sound crazy, but I gotta give acknowledgement to the brother who is doing a lot through filmmaking, 50 Cent. A lot of people know him as a rapper who is talking crazy and all of this. For sure, you gotta listen to his latest interview with Rap Radar, Real Talk. He's doing a series on the corruption of the so-called justice system because they're criminals themselves, trying to judge criminals. And my thing is this: I don't do Facebook. I don't have an Instagram, Twitter page, nothing. Just YouTube. But real talk, for anybody who's on it, just add or whatever y'all call it. Ask 50 Cent, like, yo, out of all places in the world, or even if what you call Africa, why did you buy a house in Morocco? When tell me these celebrities or these stars don't know about Moors, why would the top filmmaker right now for these people who love the lower self-image, why did he buy property in Morocco? Why Morocco? Why not Senegal? Why not Algiers? Why not any of these places? Why would this guy who's doing the top film in the industry, y'all love power, all of this stuff, seeing how the criminal justice system works, and he's speaking about real stuff that happened in so-called New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, so-called, all of these things. Why did he buy a house in Morocco? Why? Why out of all the places in Africa? Why Morocco? Dude from Queens, New York, so-called Queens, New York. Why Morocco? With all the millions and billions and all of that. Why are these people buying property in Morocco? That is my question. But we do have another caller.
Islam.
No, real talk. This is just food for thought. You know what I'm saying? 2020 is with the comment, with the Gregorian, you know, what everybody's phones say right now. I'm just saying that's not the only calendar, but an acknowledgement to how we do business transactions and all of these things in the common era. We got to realize what time it is. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that being the case, people are not sleeping on Moors as much as they would like to make it out to be. You know, they like to stimulate the fact that Moors are just some sovereign citizens who don't care nothing about law and all of this. And that's not true. You know, this is coming from the perspective of criminals saying that to even denationalize. All right, we could say denationalize, but even to play with somebody's citizenship, like they're a citizen of some place that don't exist. You can't be a sovereign citizen because it's a place that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? For them to be playing with people's perspectives and aspects of law, justice, order, love, truth, peace, freedom. It's not much to trust in these people no more. In God we trust, in the great God of the universe. That's what's moving this. Their thing is falling. They're just getting some burn. But all of this is falling for them. So I just wanted to say that in conjunction with what we were saying. We only got 25 minutes left on the live feed for MHHS Blog Talk Radio, Sons of Allah. And we have one more caller from the 804-921, I believe that's so-called, and I emphasize so-called Richmond. Peace, Noble, you with us? So-called Henrico.
Islam, brother. This is Brother Azad. Just calling in, man. Loving the dialogue, man. I don't know if I'm out of context or not, but when you started, putting on the 222, it just kind of brought me into the my nationality card. I don't know if this was ever brought up, but the AA
222141. And just going into that, just thinking about it,
My fault. Don't. You're right and exact. But I also wanted to say this before we close out, in case I don't get to say this. Please hold your wisdom. We're sitting here speaking on 2/20/22, but remind us all on this heavy energy of the number 2 that 2 days from now, which is 2/22/2020, the same 2 energy will be resonating heavy because it's 2/22/2020 opposed to 2/20/2020. But yeah, so that number 2 is heavy for these next couple of days. There's a lot more. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom.
No, I was just, like I said, I was just looking at, the a lot of my studies that I have in the political status and the allodial title, just the portion of it where it says right here that the Moabites from the land of Moab who received pre-permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit in Northwest Africa, they are the founders and the true possessors of this Al-Moroccan Empire, North America. Like I said, but just going over a lot of the, like I said, I don't know how much we go into, but it got the civic lesson book, CMB, the Moorish civic relations concepts. And just going over that, I wanted to get a more, how can I say this? A more enlightened view on that, on how we all think, how that comes together. You know what I mean? Because in the same way that you put that 2 and 2 together, is also if you're using the 1 and 1 from the, in front of the 4 and behind the 4, so that actually gives you that 2. It's just like I said, I don't know how that falls in that number thing go, but how does that correlate, in the things that we do as a political status?
So you're speaking of, when you mention numbers, I'm so everywhere with it. Are you speaking as far as political status of the AA 222141? Or
the whole thing. How does that correlate? Because like I said, when we digging into it, like I'm looking at the whole concept of the title 22, chapter 2, section 414. All this is going into our political status. As being Moors. So I was asking if you could speak to that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if anybody's ever spoke to it. So that's what I was saying. I was wondering if I was right in line with the whole conversation, because all this is centered around tools.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we could go in so much. I'm gonna just say this, and Kudjo could add on as well. But the fact that you even brought that up, I would say keep looking in yourself, bro. Don't look to me or to relay that message to you, because you just relayed something to me. You know what I'm saying? So your mind is already showing you something that your wisdom, your spirit, man, is trying to tell you, which you just happen to tell us. I mean, I can speak for me, but I didn't even, in this whole conversation, I'm not saying I'm not knowledgeable, I'm not wise, I'm not saying none of that. But all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we was breaking down throughout this session, what you just brought up, that's a revelation that came to you to share for us. I ain't about to teach you about that. You just brought that to my attention. Like I didn't. I don't think I was looking for. I wasn't looking for you to give. You ain't even. Listen, bro. Stop it. You ain't even gotta explain yourself. Understand what I just said, bro. Understand. You don't even need to explain nothing else. The revelation you just shared, none of us pointed out. We got 19 minutes left. We've been going in for 2 hours and 41 minutes. And we didn't point that out. You just pointed that out. That's your spirit man telling you something to tell to us. I'm not touching that because I just got a revelation. So as far as the divinity of today, this particular date, on this broadcast, that's a lesson for me. I ain't about to teach you about that. I'm just not, because it just hit different for me. The fact that you mentioned AA222141 and the brother just called in about 144, and we was already speaking on the duplicity of the two. It ain't nothing else to talk about. It only thing to reflect from this point, what you trying to bring to the table is wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And that's not through the noise of tongues. Because if we talking about Allah, it says clearly in the Circle 7 that Allah lives not in the noise of tongues. So you just brought wisdom to the table. We ain't even got to talk about knowledge. You know what you just brought up. You know what you just brought up. You know what you just brought to the table. Ain't nothing for us to say. Because if we had something to say about that, we would have said it hours ago.
It would have been said already.
So that's all on you, big bro. That's all on you. That was your lesson. That was your add-on. You know what I'm saying? Because we could talk about less horns and add horns. Less. Right? More or less. Addition, subtraction. When we talk about lessons, right, in the sense that also means subtractions. But if we're talking about ciphers and we adding on, you just added on, bro. That's a bill. It ain't nothing to talk about. It's real. You ain't gotta ask us nothing. Your spirit just confirmed that. Real talk. I yield the floor. Ain't nothing to say. For studious Moors.
Right, and what I was gonna say was what the more in the chat said. Oh damn! CMB did the 8222 141, which is the 2222 anyways.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this was dope.
1144.
How we supposed to add on to that right now? No way, bro. And it's 1144. Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Precisely.
1144 on 2222. All night. 22.
Yeah.
The point being,
Stop it. You know what I'm saying?
point being that every man is to himself a Christ. You know about your nationality and your birthrights. You know that. You look at divine first. Trust me, you're Christ, and give thanks for putting us on. You know what I mean? And humbly apologize to CMB for not realizing what the hell 2 hours we're on here. We even didn't even see it. Didn't even see it. Getting caught up in finding third eyes and stuff like that. Miss CMB's stuff. Almost got slapped tonight in the dream realm. Almost. So give thanks.
And you know what I said, that's what I was saying. I wanted y'all perspective. I wasn't speaking when I was saying to you, Brother Mills. I was saying that I wanted not to learn something, but I wanted to get your perspective. And you gave it. You just gave it to me. You just gave it to me. Listen to what I'm telling you. I listen to you all day. I listen to you all day. So what I'm saying to you is you gave me what I asked for.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And that's all that was asked.
Yeah.
Facts. That was it. That's just what it is. That's what it is. I gave it to you just how you asked it for, bro. I didn't even this whole time. I didn't even think about that So your revelation tonight and your add-on tonight stands on its own merit of what we started off with and basically what we ending with.
Yeah.
And we can't even try to add on, take that away from you.
Yeah.
That's what you just added to the cycle tonight. You know what I'm saying? And that was in complete harmony and so synchronized. The fact that we could even sit back and think about it and speak about that for 20 minutes before even trying to even add on to that. The fact that you was just in line. It's nothing to say, bro. Not with this amount of time, no.
Sure.
Now we might look back on this and add on to how you just added on, but nah, bro. What you just brought to the table, that's your spirit, man. That was Allah adding on to what we were saying about this numerology all night. Anyway, it's nothing else to talk about.
And then,
basically, what you just did was say, "Oh, and don't forget, put your headlights on."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your headlights was off. That's basically what, yo, my man, your headlights was off. I just wanted to say, what else I'm gonna do but just turn them on? I can't say nothing about that. My shit, I was off. I did not even realize the 882222141 in the sequence and the equation of all of this. That is its own merit, bro. So salute to you, bruh. Like real talk. Salute to you. Oh, hold up. No fault.
Right, and again,
muted somebody on accident.
And then again, with regard to you know, this is just across the board. The salute to you is that the angels are as loud as we're willing to listen. So if we're looking at only, you know, the people who are in the forefront as the ones to listen to, you're definitely not going to get the message. Because the angels come in all shapes, forms, sizes. The angels aren't limited. The word of Allah through the consciousness of some other being to you might not come in the way that you want it. It might be the lady with coronavirus that has the message to you. You gonna not take the message because she's got the virus? If you know that message is coming from Allah, but it's the coronavirus lady that has to give you the message, will you take the message?
Facts. Damn. And we ain't even touch on the coronavirus like we wanted to. Real fact.
It's so much.
Real facts, because I shared it with you earlier, and my aunt sent this to me.
Yeah, with the Lysol.
Right on the back of the Lysol wipes.
Crazy.
Yeah, Lysol wipes, Clorox wipes.
Yep.
And it's been there for years since they came out. The Lysol wipes and the and the Clorox wipes. It says right on there, it disinfects the human coronavirus. And like we was talking about earlier, white means purity. So if something like that can purify a disease or a virus, you need to pay attention to what Noble Ali was saying about white meaning purity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a pale nation of Europe, face, or person that determines white. Real facts. So I say that to say, man, I thank Allah, the great God of the universe, for this session tonight. I wish we had more time on the MHHS blog talk to keep going in, you know what I mean, and keep the callers coming in. But I'm just speaking of the numerology. No matter what calendar you using, you know what I'm saying? This particular time right now is very significant. It's very divine. It's so appropriate. And, you know, it has a lot to deal with the so-called, whatever it means to people these days, reality. And not illusions or delusions people like to throw around, but real facts of numbers. You know what I'm saying? No matter what calendar you use it, that's not even the point. It's the numbers that we're talking about right now. You know what I mean? So those numbers are not lying. And like I said, man, we always get the best days over here at MHHS Sons of Allah for whatever reasons you can think about. We there. It's there. And I think the brother who called in from the 804, so-called Henrico County, I already know. You in the so-called first colony, the Virgin. So salute to the brother for adding that on to the session. Because, you know, at this point, we're not about less-ons or lessons. We're about add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the math is not lying. We might be taking away from the falsehoods in people's minds, but we're adding on and building on truth, facts. You know, truth and facts. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed. So I thank Allah for this platform. I don't know if it's anything you brothers would like to say in closing. All I can say, man, is I just wish we had some more time, because I don't feel like we can stop here. There's so much more we can add on to. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we could go another 3 hours. But yeah,
it's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's what
yeah, well, I'll just close out with this one. This quote: "Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by so doing, some people have entertained angels without knowing it." Peace and love to all. Islam to all Moors. Give thanks again, Ms. Appreciate everything you do, fam.
Likewise, bro. Likewise. And big thanks to you all, to you specifically, and all the Moors up there, Canaanland. I appreciate it. I'm thankful I got my coin, my 10-year anniversary coin, Canaanland Moors, Noble Dry League, Holy Week. That means everything to me. You know what I'm saying? That's something I'll be able to speak about with my nieces and nephews in later days. And, you know, that just means so much to me. So peace to y'all for keeping the word of the prophet true and living. And we'll be back. The next MHHS Blog Talk broadcast will be this following Tuesday. I do believe it's the 25th. But also keep in mind, as we're going in on this 2-2 energy, that 2 days from now, or on Saturday, the 22nd, 2/22/2020, there's also a heavy 2-2 number. You know what I mean? Which is wisdom. Wisdom. So yeah, stay on your numerology, and I say peace and love to you all. Thank you, Kudjo, again for contributing to what I think personally, no ego, is just another classic food for thought session right here on MHHS Eyes Wide Open Sons of Allah Blog Talk Radio and streaming on YouTube. Man, salute to everybody in the chat. Again, big acknowledgement to all the mothers, sisters, you know, everybody going in on the 22 right now. But salute, fam. And we'll be back. We'll be back next month for sure. And even before that. I know you got something going on Sunday. But yeah. I'll leave it at that. Thank you all, man. Indeed.
It's always going to get you rich.
What? I'm rocking. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, repping Friday 13th like Jason, without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his posture, might be talking to cops, giving them caution, occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking, see the turning heads, whispering, gawking, but he's locked in, and he's zoned out, while we boxed in our own house.
Study the mystics, the adepts, the magi, wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify as possible mission. Free mental numbness, extract the substance with minds of darkness. Use the source, don't care what some purport, as we know by being told man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got caught, placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, Negro spirituals, brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past like this block? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak from soft arms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Women, brass and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the enemy serenades. Whether the sky is fair or gray, rain when you hear effective in life you see. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glance. Then I was looking these homes like hallucinatory camps. Sun walked the desert, been more of a sense. I found God, look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place and spoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats up, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors with flemo faces. Game changers, rule benders, and no pretenders. Style benders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses. Send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in. We on the verge, we on merge, subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still I participate unwilling.
They wanna break me, break me. Running with my name G, double O-N-G. S-O-N is crazy for a minute that you think you could take me for a fool like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. Keep mistaking me, spiders on the roof, in the dark trees. I've been saying you mistaken me. To better move for our market. Power thing is my tongue, to resistance to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide, carry out in pockets, I knock it. Down bulldozer, David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big heads ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall, round up on your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters dragging the porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we get quiet, hoping the teacher still is the dope, just to keep us afloat. Might as deep as the boat, bring us to leave the weapon we want need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levy broke under my Louis fitted the semi-punk. Cause then we captured and take the ball, yeah, the joke. The cost of living, higher profits and private printing. These little girls are sunny body just to pay tuition. These little niggas sunny niggas just to build condition. It's like the state we never end the prison in the mission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and me one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.